We're back.
I was gonna say I still can't.
What's up now, Brendan?
So I'm the only one that hasn't screwed up my mic, so it's still to come.
All right,
Mike.
okay, so now, but the after show, in order to keep it rolling,
Yeah,
in the
I have
after
to screw
show,
up the
when you
mic.
start out, you have to be muted when you
All
start
right.
out. Because I did it this morning, and then Brendo just now. So it's apparently your turn. Although I don't know what Randy's doing over at the desk, because I just looked up and I saw him.
Randy's at the desk.
It's just a cacophony of.
That's twice today. You can't use the word.
No,
of the
I
day
didn't. No.
He used it.
He didn't use
Oh,
cacophony.
you said that's what he
He
was
said
struggling
something
for.
else, and I was like, "What you were looking for is cacophony."
Okay.
But then nobody heard
It's such
me
a
because
good
I
word.
wasn't on the show.
That's why. It's like.
So yes, at some point Brendan's gonna put a mic on and we'll get it back, and he'll do his whole rundown thing. So
yeah,
how
we'll
about
try,
U.S.
we'll try
Steel,
that.
people? You know what the best part about today is? It wasn't being short just about everything. It was the fact that I had some U.S. Steel shares in my personal portfolio. Saw the news over the weekend. I was like, I'll just sell it. I'll just sell it at the open on Monday because whatever. I've just been hanging on to a piece of it from a couple of years ago at $20, and I sell at. So I got the opening print. Just come to my chart.
okay.
If we're going to do this, we can come to my chart. At 28.14. Now, this is not a day trade, so, I mean, it is what it is. It's now $2 higher, exactly. So U.S. Steel on an absolute tear. We'll be talking about that one throughout the afternoon because there's absolutely no avoiding it. Crazy mover. There's a lot to get to. The chips have been ridiculously strong. I'm in Amazon, Micron, and Palantir. Oops, I got to take a fill so that you can see that, actually.
Yeah, my positions are already there. I hope we're getting ready to get locked and loaded there as Randy's over at the big desk. So is Brendo. I didn't hear anything in my ear there, so I sort of knew there was a problem. Is it fixed yet?
He wasn't wearing a mic, I don't think.
Oh, he didn't. Oh, it's because he didn't have the mic on, period. So there you go.
Well, that makes me feel better about this one.
Yeah, exactly. So our producer Fabian, I guess, running around here trying to get mics all hooked up. The one thing that I noticed is doing the after show, I don't know how yours was on Friday, it's close to running out of batteries by the time 4:30 hits.
What did I do?
So that might be another temporary problem that we have. But right now, Meta now is starting to go to the downside. So we'll be positive at least on Meta today as it is starting to head downside. We are now $1 in the money on that. There it is. Yes, sir. We get our 62 fill as we're short the whole thing right now. The market finally below the 50-period moving average, starting to go to the downside. Triple top, at 15,250 now. And enough is enough, man. We've been shorting this name. You're going to see a lot of ticks on here. I really, man, we protected that 304 as much as we can until it went back up to 305. So here we go to the downside. The one name that's basically my whole day to the downside, or for my P&L to the downside, is this stupid AMD, as I just don't believe it. Wants to go back to the upside, and man, we were wrong on this one today. But the last couple shorts here, and we're going to go to Brendan in a second, he's ready. We've been shorting 111 and getting them out here 60s and 50s. So well worth the risk to reward now on AMD finally. But just to give you guys an update, that's what I'm doing here with advanced micro DAM devices. What's up, Brendo?
Take two, as I was going to mention, yes, the NASDAQ in general, but specifically semiconductor stocks, very strong all morning long, all afternoon so far. There is the Qs. 0.8 to the upside, 369.5 the top if you're looking at the Qs. If we break it down by individual sector, yes, wow, 6.3% for Nvidia. Morgan Stanley adding Nvidia to its top pick list this morning in the pre-market, which seems to be the only catalyst, as we didn't know that already, or as if we didn't know that already. 3% meanwhile for AMD, as we saw there on Sean's chart. Texas Instruments, Broadcom also having a great day. So all of the semiconductors basically in positive territory. I saw it earlier on here. I don't see it right now, but Micron is in there somewhere, having a very good day as well. Google, Microsoft, Meta, Oracle, Adobe, ACN, to name a few here, but software names specifically. Yeah, Netflix up 1%, CRM 1.3%. Amazon's here as well, almost a full percent to the upside. So a lot of green offsetting some weakness, still coming from banks, still coming from the retail group. We'll get into that a little bit later in the week, more specifically with earnings to come. But utilities, energy, and obviously Tesla to blame for some of this as well. Yeah, I was going to show you that as well, but I mean, same story overall as AMD. Morgan Stanley, as I mentioned, their top pick, guys, for, I guess today anyway, for Nvidia.
I don't know if it's for today, but let's just say the chips be strong, and Nvidia was the strongest of them. Just very quickly, because Bitcoin's making a bit of a push to the downside, which is noted in the chat. and I'm seeing absolutely no movement, pure sideways on coin, like red to green. And this is off of that 81 level, which was, we closed at 81.01 on Friday, so I kind of like the short around here. But I'm going to go back over to Nvidia, because this was me on Nvidia today. Okay, first resistance, 412. Let's short that. Boom, to the upside. Then we wait for 420. Well, 420 is a nice number. Let's short that. And then it takes out the top. So, and well, realistically, we're actually at the 436. That's a pretty big level as well. Wow, I wish I didn't see that, because 436 is a really darn good level for Nvidia. It's the afternoon.
Kaboom.
Yeah, how am I not short that? But the other one I was in Micron just now, 68, and that tried to take out the top. It's basically the same kind of setup on Micron, where it's at last week's lower high. If you go back onto Wednesday, that would be the resistance on Wednesday, 68 on Micron. So Nvidia at the 436, Micron at the 68. It's almost like a pick your poison here. The Nvidia level does look better. The more I look at it, yeah, it just feels like Nvidia maybe a little bit better the way it went into that level last time, this 436. But Micron 68 is about the same thing.
Man, it's hilarious because as you're talking about it, we did short that Nvidia 436, so we're right at their rate now, $1 in the money. But we just took it. We just took some out right there. We took out 30% actually on the way down. So here we go. We just shorted 436 twice. Let's see if it does want to bounce back. It's hitting 435, obviously 434. Here we go. $1.30 in the money now and starting to go down. Yes, sir. Wow, making a lot back here as we continue to go down. But we did get stopped out of our damn AMD, which is all the way back down now as well against that level. Let's hold on to Nvidia. This could be a monster winner if we ever take this level of 434 out. I think we could drop into 431, 432 here. So that is a good, here we go. This is a good possibility. Now $2 in the money on this. We did go short before, like Neil said, there's one short and out on that one spike at 433. Got short again and got taken out at 435. That's like a $2 hit. So we'd like to make $2 right now, which we're in the money now, $2. So yes, sir, bring this back down. And of course, that has to happen to me on AMD. That really does suck right there. But here we go. Now we go short again on Nvidia because it did break that key level of 433.60. So let's start to get some out now. It is a nice pullback down. Hopefully we can get going. We just broke down through that level. We were already short up here. So it is a newer position that we just added on to this. But maybe the market wants to break. Finally, Nvidia trying to take down. I mean, that's at, you know, the note today from Morgan Stanley, of course, was that watch out ahead of earnings. Like people might be a little scared about missing the boat again off of that huge earnings report when they had 4 million and then 4 billion. They upped the sales targets there to 11 billion, and you had a huge move up. So what if they do rinse and repeat that again? That was something that took everybody by surprise. So no surprise this time what Nvidia is trying to do. But now we're $1 in the money on Meta and should probably start taking something out here on that one as well, as this is all the way down to 303.50 off of a 305 short. So we've well made money today, really lots, good amounts of money on Meta, but we're still battling this Nvidia. And like I said, we just got stopped out at 111 there. That sucks. Normally we're a little bit higher than that, but I'd had enough with AMD today. So in and out, pretty much washed our last trade, but that sucks because here comes a big move down for AMD and we're not short. We want to stay net short this market if we're going to be under the 50-period moving average. So that's that in a nutshell. Oh man, AMD.
What is going on up there?
Are you guys switching over, or is it just?
Well, Randy's out of the seat, and now Sharif is back.
Oh, I'm so mad about AMD. So mad about AMD.
I did get into that Coinbase just now on a little bit of a breakdown.
That's
It got underneath VWAP. I think I just got greedy. Yeah, and well, I don't think I just got greedy. I know I just got greedy because it broke VWAP and I didn't take any outs there. But I am going to get some in front of 40s and then 20s and then 80 even. We'll go back to the desk. We've got lots to get to still. This market is showing some signs of a curl.
Hearing some weird feedback in my ear, but hey, whatever. Yeah, let's talk about a few things that we were discussing. If you were with us in the pre-market this morning, I mean, it was kind of a quiet Monday morning before things got rolling as far as tech is concerned. We were talking about some of the Chinese ADRs, specifically Alibaba, more specifically, in that we got a number of analyst moves this morning to the upside primarily, a number of positive moves to the upside primarily, but there was this note as well. I was just reading through this. Alibaba Public Investment Fund raising their share stake in Alibaba Group by 40.7%.
It's an interesting look.
I feel like that's something that wouldn't be allowed in the U.S., but what do I know?
Yeah, I'm hearing about this headline for the first time right now. But with respect to Alibaba, we have retail sales coming out of China tomorrow. This will definitely affect them as they are heavily invested in the retail e-commerce sector there. We also got an interesting data point today showing the continued weakness of the Chinese economy. Real estate now an issue, Brendo, in China. So we'll continue to keep our eye on Baba.
Yeah, they've had the commercial side of things anyways, as far as real estate is concerned, to be a bit of an issue for a while. But I mean, if you missed the initial move today, guys, it was kind of back and forth for Alibaba.
Yeah, there really wasn't that much to be done with Alibaba, I suppose. I would have, I don't know, I guess if it had gotten underneath 92 and it had dipped far enough, like it got underneath that 93, like barely, and then it went into what I thought would have been the buy zone, just not deep enough. And with Alibaba, I don't want to get too aggressive sitting on the bid when I'm anticipating a dip buy. Like, you really want to get a good price. It just never really happened. Then you get a day where it doesn't break the high and it doesn't get into the dip support levels that I like. So there just wasn't a trade for me. I did have a trade idea on NEO. I know this one will be fun. So that NEO at 12, that's a real wick down there, and it's 2. It's an entry and it's an exit. So this is me into 12, only to see it on the 3-minute hold right again. I did not go back to the well off the 12 level in NIO. It wicked it the first time when I got out, did not jump right back in off the bottom, and it's back to 1250. So kind of a missed opportunity there as NEO gave you that even dollar. It did this at, I want to say it was 13. 10's been a good level where it's done this. Palantir did it at $15. Speaking of Palantir, only because we're not going to talk about it, with this market pullback, I've been sitting in this breakout of Palantir pretty much all afternoon. Originally broke to 55 just after we finished at 11 o'clock, and then got a dip by there as well. It cannot seem to break the 75 level, so I've been scalping out in front of it. If it does go underneath break even with the market pulling back here, I just get out. I'm not giving it into VWAP or anything like that, but Palantir, with the same wick bottom that NEO did, I feel worse about missing this one. Like, NEO I got in and then stopped out. Like, I can live with that, but like, it didn't even get Palantir. Like, that's just a lot worse. Like, I'd rather be there and lose, because at least I was there. It's a weird thing to say, but trust me, it's true, because it means you're going to miss less opportunities, because when these win, they win big. So that 15 on Palantir was great, and it's the second day in a row that it did it. If you're where's my data? If you're watching on Friday, there's your 15 double bottom. That's a long on Palantir 15. Until proven otherwise.
All right, we talked about it on the after show when we were doing a little bit of trade talk the other day, and that was this FXI, which of course is the China big cap ETF. And I think that might be the best way to play it. Large cap ETF is as it's described. It's an iShares product. And we were talking about this coming right back to basically winter levels. I mean, the high is 33 there when the market sort of peaked in January. But you can just look here, if I zoom in maybe just a little bit more. Forget about where it's come from. We've already seen names like Baba and all these names really start to get going and blah, blah, blah. But if you're coming up here to 30 bucks, you know, we talked about this. It was on this day. I think it must have been 29.50 or so. We talked about it. I wasn't super confident in FXI or the Chinese or the big cap Chinese names, and I've sort of explained my disdain for those and why I don't think they can go. But there it is, a nice little pullback down in this name. So if you're going to look at any sort of an ETF, I like this FXI today. Big move, man, down 1.16%. That's pretty big for this. So you're seeing a nice move, pull back in, like just from making the highs back in March, basically. And even if you go back, you can go all the way back here to February. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Double topped it out there at 30.50. We came, if you're taking some of these fills into consideration here, or even upside, I mean, you hit it to the dot. But if you pull back to 30, we did get back up to 29.66. So now here's a nice little 10% move down, $2 down off of 30. So let's call it 7.5%. Nice move down. I think there's more to go on FXI. So if you're uncertain about which names, Tencent, Alibaba, NEO, like Neil mentioned there, not NEO, of course, as there was a joke on the midday show there. But I think FXI can be shorted here, and then you don't have to worry about the specific names, and you could just use that $30.50 level as the one for concern. So that's what we're going to be doing right now with FXI and shorting some of these Chinese names. You can also hold it as a hedge if you really did want to against, like you can go short this name and then go long Alibaba for a trade, something like that. What are you snapping about there, Sharif? What's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
All right, over to the big desk. We'll find out.
All right. Yeah, we were going to talk about Tesla here. I was just speaking with Randy. Randy confiscated Sharif's desk and chair for a period of time there. He was letting me know when he was here that this whole Tesla price cut in China thing is no big deal.
No big deal.
In the sense that they're just trying to keep up with BYD, who apparently did something similar recently over there. So, I mean, it's like a 5% price cut on the Model Y if you missed it this morning. Still, I mean, we did get a nice bounce out of the gate this morning to the upside for Tesla, but still downside today. And
I wonder if we're going to see more price cuts in North America. At least that's what Chris McNally, Evercore ISI analyst, has to say. He thinks that we're going to see about 100 bips of price cuts on North American versions as well. We know that the Model Y, the long range, and the performance had a price cut. With respect to the Model 3, it's not a direct subsidy, Brendo, direct price cut, but it is a subsidy because they are subsidizing the insurance premiums. Interesting look there.
If they start to price cut here, that would be a little more beneficial, I think. But I don't think they have the need for that yet. Still, 2% negative day for Tesla, guys.
Yeah, I didn't trade Tesla.
No, nor did I. We're starting to get out some of our big cap tech as we are starting to fall back down just a little bit. And we are going to talk about Tesla, so give me a second. It's just, this is all, you're going to say this looks crazy, and it does look crazy. Over 100 fills today on Meta. But here you go, finally starting to come back in it. Again, my number one name today is Meta, and we're taking some names down here as it continues to fall off of 304. 305 high. We should have just given it to 304 once we broke. We talked about this on the first show. Once we broke above 300 and sort of broke the 50 period right there of like $300.70, that's when we should have just said, forget about it. We'll wait for this. Not too patient enough, but now having to cash out as we go. Nvidia also $1 in the money right now. Look, I like Tesla for a long term. I think I've talked about that over and over again. It's nice to hear that Randy doesn't think it's a big deal, but whatever. Randy has his opinion. The market will have something else. This is down 2% today in an up market. So that's never a good sign for Tesla. However, you know, you're a couple reports away from this stock going one way or the other, right? I mean, this is a violent name. We know that they could come out. They probably won't beat deliveries or anything this year. We're going to have to wait again for that number to come through. They were on target for it. I think there's still a lot. I keep saying it. There's a lot of stuff that could happen that could go right for Tesla. And I'm just waiting for all those announcements, right? More sales, new vehicles, good possibility for the truck. I love everything that they're doing for AI. I like Starlink and everything connecting Teslas to Starlink in the air. I think there's so much that you can do with this name. And especially the fact that we know that Uber's waiting just to buy all the Teslas they possibly can once they want to go automated on that side of things. So I like Uber, I like Tesla, I like technology, and I like big tech. And if you're going to be in any of those buckets, I think you got to start buying some Tesla. And I just looked at the daily chart. I like that 220. We've talked about that. But as far as a day trade, look what's happened so far. That's a 200 period. 240, then 240 again. Hasn't wanted to break it. I think you can wait to go short up there. I'm already short the market right now. Short Apple, 30 cents in the money, $2 in the money, Meta. And Nvidia is really the bad egg here. I'd be positive today if not for AMD, but AMD has really took my lunch. And it's just funny that I just get stopped out at 111 before it breaks again, back down to the downside. Glad we have Nvidia on board. But yeah, I like Tesla. And I think the fact that I was in Rome there and basically saw no Teslas, I think that that's an untapped market possibly in Europe that really, especially in the big cities, hasn't been opened up yet. I know here in Toronto, obviously infrastructure is a lot different here than it would be anywhere else, but I still think there's a lot of runway here for TSLA.
You can charge just about everywhere. Like it was like, I saw the same thing in Paris, but it was like, it's all small EVs. Like it's all the, like, I mean, this is anecdotal, but it felt like 90% of the EVs I saw were all the, you know, your little tiny models, whatever. Like the type is evading me, but I just feel as if Tesla's head down to 220 here. That's where it seems like on the weekly chart. If you look at where we topped out on Tesla's weekly, throw up my chart to the trade ideas chart here. Like you got to 300. Come to the chart. Thanks. So yeah, you got to 300, and then you rejected this level. So where should we be headed? Support somewhere in and around, like this starts at 230 and then gets you into there, maybe the 220 area. So that's what I'm thinking. We could be headed on Tesla. I actually have a stink bid at 220, 222 because that's how I roll. Today, I think I got a missed opportunity on Tesla because I had the 41 level marked off and then didn't short it when it got there. Like the one thing I don't short is the stock that doesn't break a resistance level that I had from the morning. Go figure. I don't think we see 41 again today. If we do, that means the market's done something rather spectacular, just because we are talking some of the big tech. Let me get to a couple of things here, because that MU did start to roll over again off that 68 level. It got down to the 80s. It got bids into 67.5, which was a support level. And then Coinbase as well. I got some out there at 40 and then reloaded this at the local high here just off the 80 level. So a bit of scalp trades on a couple of shorts. And I'm in Amazon as well. This is the second salvo in Amazon, which I guess we're about to talk about. So I can hold off on that for a second.
Yes, let's, because it has been a decent day overall for Amazon. Sharif and I were just talking about this. This is a New York Post article suggesting that, Netflix and Amazon paying $900,000 a year, or up to $900,000 a year for, you nailed it, prompt engineers or AI positions. Crazy.
Do you have the application for that, Brandon?
Which one?
Kidding. Of course.
I do not, actually. But we were discussing the fact that there were still a number of analysts who were very positive on Amazon this morning as well.
Yeah. Look, I was watching a nice little tidbit on the weekend with respect to Amazon. They're looking to actually make their own microchips and GPUs because it's one of their biggest expenses for AWS, which, as we know, their most profitable sector. So this is a good look for them if they don't have to rely on Nvidia. Price action-wise, it was a bit of a dud today. 138.5 seemed to be a bit of a base, and 140 top. I'll let the guys get into that, but Max and I are looking at that during the midday show.
Yeah, I mean, still positive here on the day, so not a bad day. Anyways, how is your prompt skills, guys?
Bad. I've already made my bed as a trader and apparently now a host. So no, I think that's reasonable. You know what, $900,000. You could think that sounds ridiculous, but
game, no, it's not.
you know, to pay for the best out there. You know, you're going to be a good trader. You're going to want to make that much money. You want to be, work for an AI. You're going to want to make that much money. And I just think that HR, although I've hired a lot of traders in my day, it's very, very tough to find the best people out there. So I don't have a problem with them paying that much. But I do think it's, a little juicy, and you want to talk about taking advantage maybe of the AI bubble. Well, here's an opportunity for those of us that know a little bit about AI to take advantage and grab a pretty sweet paying job. So, hey man, if you guys have been focusing on AI learning and machine learning like my kid is, then I think that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, Amazon today tweeted it out earlier. I think that 137 level is just about as good as you're ever going to get on a stock, especially if you want to go long. And it's the gap long, and we talked about this. It's that gap up right here into 137 that's held. This is their earnings report. They came out with a great number. BDPS, everyone liked it. They talked about monetizing more their retail side of it, as Sharif just mentioned. Everybody loves Amazon for AWS, so let's start to love it now for what they're doing on the retail side. If they can hold margin, which is very small right now, and even increase it just a little bit, what exactly does that do to the bottom line? If Jassy ever screws this thing up, Jeff Bezos will come right back in, I'm sure about it. But for right now, it's working. It's made some nice highs at 143. I think for now, this is probably the high for a bit. Let's see if it does fade out. For a day trade, though, I want to be here if it hits 137 to make sure that we're going long. And then if we can break below it, then we'll flip up the script in the next couple of days after we break below and use 137 as resistance. So for right now, I like this trade, but I'd rather be long at 137 than short up here at 140. I still think we could maybe test that 143 high, but Amazon's up the same as the market today. I actually was surprised. I thought it would be up a little more than the NASDAQ. So the only thing sort of lifting the NASDAQ here is what I'm short in now is Nvidia and AMD. So I feel like, Amazon should have been up more. So maybe the short is coming here for AMZN.
Well, I think it already kind of came, and we'll see what happens. But there was at least one other stock. I mean, Tesla missed 241, didn't have it. But then Amazon 140. I said, wait for it. And then we had a 140 into last week's top. Well, it's a lower high last week, so it's Wednesday and Thursday's high. 140.50 with the body here at that 140 level. So the second it got into that price, we were looking for the short. I did have one right into 140, kind of not letting it get to the 140.5. That worked till about 139.60, then stopped out above 140 even. Then we got the curl right at 140.5, like we were saying this morning. It broke VWAP. I got trailed at 139 for $1.50. Then the lower high came in. We've been sitting in that one for a while. So this is at least one name that respected the level that we were looking to short off of from the morning. And that's the day like today. That's the only way the short's usually going to work. Is like, where's that level that you're looking to short that actually holds up, and then just make sure you structure the trade properly around it. I love Amazon as well. The 137 had it come in, I think would have been a fantastic long. And if you look at the daily chart here, it's not as if it was kind of a lot of wicks on the chart, but you can see the 137 is a previous break to support. It's stair stepping up at this point. So the 137 holds long enough through any downturn in the market, and then you're breaking back out the top. And when you pull up the weekly chart on Amazon, it feels as if there just is some room here. If we just punch through, there we go. If we just punch through this 145 level, you tell me, if we hold 137 and punch through 145, giddy up, because that's about 15% to the upside till you get to the next stop there, about the 165, 170. So this one feels like it's bullish off the 137. Doesn't mean the day trade wasn't there for the short at the top, though. That was one of the few names where it actually worked.
All right, let's go on to AMC and APE. We were discussing this morning, top of the watch list, in fact, coming off this move after the close on Friday. Where this Delaware court comes out and says they can go ahead with this conversion, APE to AMC and vice versa. Here's Jim Cramer trying to put a positive spin on this with a clearer path for AMC to survive after this decision.
So the look is they're going to do a 1-to-10 reverse split on that shares converting from APE to AMC. A filing authorizes them to raise 550 million shares if this goes through. Previously it was 542, so you do the math, about 7.8 million shares at the current price. That's how much you're going to be able to raise. Adam Aaron saying, he's the CEO of AMC, saying we can use access to equity capital, shore up our cash reserves, pay down debt, invest in growth initiatives, and strengthen our operating profitability. We know that they face some headwinds, given that the writers and the actors are on strike right now, so maybe not as much down the pipeline.
It ends up being a bit of a nothing kind of a day here as far as the action goes for AMC, guys, but down huge, obviously.
Yeah, I had one trade in AMC. It was right off the open, the short pop, and that was pretty much it. But now that I look at it, and if you had told me Jimmy Chill said buy it, why wouldn't I have just gone long off the bottom? Nah, I was never even thinking about that. Quite, to be honest with you, I was just looking to short off the 360 level. So you had this lower high in the pre-market 360. Given the fact that it pulled down in almost a 3, and given where it was trading, I was like, okay, if it fails that level, that sets you up with an entry. Like if it fails to get up here, just go short that to the high and then short to the bottom. I did have one entry at 38 to the 40 level, to that lower high, but that stopped out for 2 cents. So sometimes just get in, get out, and Bob's your uncle. If this gets over $4, though, you know, maybe that's something we look for the rest of the week. Like if this gets back above 4 to try and fill in some of this gap, then you could go squeezing on AMC. Just, it's got some room. It's got a lot of work to do before it gets back there. But that is the previous low from the last couple of months. If it gets there, I could see the stock going squeeze mode. But maybe not today. You know, today there was one decent trade off the open. If you're looking to go long, then you had to take it off of that bottom. APE, I didn't really even look at APE. A lot of times there's some kind of a correlation trade you can make between the two, but didn't really see it today. That's probably a symptom of the fact that it was over pretty much in the first 30 minutes for excitement on AMC.
Yeah, I think that story came out in the post-market there on Friday, so people had a chance to sort of do the research themselves and figure out what exactly is up with that proposal. And 10-to-1 split's never a great sign, but hey, the more capitalization, we saw that with Carvana, all of a sudden was able to grab that loan and then went from like $2 to $60. So we'll see if APE and AMC can do that. Okay, wow, already getting messages. Everyone's already pumped up for our next tournament there. So that's going to be fun for Little League. We did short again here. Nvidia right now as it is back to 434. Again, you know, we're only really red on 2 names today, and we've only traded 4, and half of them are Nvidia and AMD. So it's the chip names here that I just do not believe in this move, and it is called being stubborn as they continue to go to the upside. But thankfully, we've made back almost half of our day here in the last hour and a half, re-shorting some of these names. And the big one for me has been, of course, we've talked about Meta being shorted back in one more time. And we talked about Carvana. So since we have AMC and APE shares up, let's throw the APE right now on the AMC moon rocket right now, because one thing that did try to go today was Carvana. It just bounced off 41.50 again. And I just feel like this is trading much more like a stock, just a little more violent than we expected. So you kind of stop here where we closed on Friday, up at 41.30, 41.40. Nice move up there to 41.70, and now trying to pull back in. So I think you want to load this thing up again if it comes back to $40. So watch out for Carvana on yet again another key level there for CVNA. I don't know what the next name to go is. We talked about Siri last week and sort of what was happening there with Portnoy and stuff. I mean, this is another 30% short float. I could see this name getting squeezed up again, but there's just too many shares outstanding for that to happen. And then I don't think, you guys tell me, I don't think Rework has options available. So if you don't have options available, that means everyone has to go in there and buy common stock, which at 22 cents, you could probably do that. So I could see this name possibly getting squeezed out as well, but that might have already happened because we went from 15 cents up to 30 and change there on very rough news again. So I don't know. I feel like if you're going to look at Carvana, you also want to look at WeWork and then just put a little note attached to your account to maybe have a look at Siri in case that gets above 5 again. So a couple squeeze names there to possibly look at if you did want to. Apple, just a big cap name, so from squeeze to a name that can probably never get squeezed. Apple right here, trying to break lower right now. So again, we've been in trouble with the chip names, but not anything else in tech land. So hopefully Apple will fall back down, and we are now bidding view up. Let's go talk about. Sure, go.
Just one thing, because I see a couple people in the chat, so I want to thank a few people in the chat for mentioning. Ron
options.
Williams, we has 50-cent, $1, and $1.50 options for the
so
monthly.
It could go.
Yeah, I mean, the reason you care about that kind of a thing is if you're looking for an explosive trade on a squeeze play, it's just a little bit better if there are the options element to it. You just get a little more explosive actions. That does help WeWork if there is some kind of a breakout.
Why don't you just come back here right now real quick because we're spinning this up right now. We just talked about shorting Nvidia at 434. Well, guess what? Right there, $2.05, pretty much. You do have to take advantage of that as it did pull back to the 50-period moving average. So, we'll celebrate wins when we got them because finally right now, and I said this to everybody before too, it's like I'm definitely seeing a correlation between actually slowing down on trading and waiting for this afternoon pullback or vice versa, waiting for the afternoon to give me some key levels so that we can put on a little bit more shares before we go. So let's wait to see what happens here. 432.50. We just took a cover there at 432.80. So yeah, we did not get that bottom move. What was that bottom move there on Nvidia? It did touch all the way, touched the 50-period flat rate there at 432.07. So, all right, let's put some more bids down there just in case that does happen again. Oh, I'm at 432. That's hilarious. I'm at 432.02, and I've been there forever. So we missed it by about 7 cents. Let's correct that.
Let's talk some Nikola, as we were mentioning here, to wrap things up. Nice recovery back to 185 after this comes out this morning. That was after the fire we were discussing last week. 200 of these trucks, which you found is going to be basically 60-ish% of all that have been delivered. Mm-hmm.
Basically, all the trucks are being recalled. Now, the recall includes about 60% of all the vehicles delivered. We know that they're making two types of cars, battery-powered and hydrogen-powered. They're scaling back the battery-powered in favor of the hydrogen-powered, but we'll see. This is not a good look for them.
Obviously, a very popular stock of the past weeks and months here, guys. Nikola, though, trying to get back to essentially where we ended the day on Friday.
It's got about 10 cents to go, so that's roughly 5% move, which is, for Nikola, it does seem like it's not that much, but that's a good move for it lately. It's been 5-10% to the downside pretty much most days. I was sitting in it pre-market for the dump. Probably should have just left it at that because it was pretty clean. 65 into 155. Then reloaded, out tight stop, then gave it to 180 on another reload off the highs, sat in it, just could not hold on. It is breaking out to the upside. It's kind of a flat top break. Nikola does have a short. We've just been talking about short names or short float type names. Nikola's 24% short float. So it gets back above the 180 level and is now barcoding to a potential 185 breakout. This isn't that terrible a setup if you look at it from the bigger picture, where you have the bad news come in, You wick underneath that 180, which was a big level. Like, this is not out of nowhere. 180 was the high in June. It then broke out through that on volume in July. It then held support there for the last couple of days. So you wick underneath and then break back out from there. You take out 185, 2 is next, and you can go squeeze hunting. So this is worth watching on Nikola. Just a couple of things to go back to some big cap names, because I was able to get a couple of legs out on Micron there back into the 80s. It's making a lower high. That one feels okay. Coinbase, got a reload there, got some VWAP, got some 80-40, so the short off 81 is okay. But again, the market continues to refuse to break that 15.2 level. So here's the NASDAQ. We're essentially holding the highs, lower highs, but it will not break down off this 15.2. It's wicked it a couple of times and then battled right back in. So you do need to be careful with those shorts. The one that currently feels a little bit dangerous is the Amazon one. It might take out this local top, in which case I'm out of it. This is a reload. Not really a reload, because I was completely out of the trade, but the short on the over VWAP. If this takes out 139.70 change, I just get out of it. The best price was waiting for 140, and I'm in here. I felt like it was making lower highs, and if the market rejected the top, we'd get cute and get into this one early because it felt relatively weak. But the sell is above 140, and if we break this local high, I'm just going to get out of it. I haven't even taken any profit. You will see I am still in Palantir long. If it breaks just underneath that 115.55, I will get out. And I'm in that AMRS. That's that penny stock from last week. I've been shorted pretty much all day, 13s, and then again off the 11 level. There's it's again a small delete from an index. So not expecting like 7 million to sell like it was on Thursday. But if it comes to a sell and bounce, I'll probably add to it at the close, just see how far it can go. Last time it went to 7 cents. If it did that today, then it would have been cut in half again, because that's what it does. And TTOO is going. Wow, it feels like that was mentioned a lot, and then T2 didn't go at all this morning. And now it's going. It really is going. I wrote this off. Now it wants to break that 37. 45 is the big level on T2. I've been looking for this to break this. Once it breaks out 45, that's the long for the bigger squeeze. I think if it gets through that, you have room to like 63, and then next level up is like 90 cents. So if this gets to 45 today, I'd still probably take the breakout, but it's got a ways. That's like 20% away. That's probably more of a tomorrow thing.
Tomorrow's trade today. Yeah, it should be a good one there. I like Nikola. I know we're done. We could pretty much wipe that board clean if you want to. I mean, we probably got to go back to Brendan for a read. Yep, yeah, I got that. Okay, so just right now, I just want, before we go back to Brendan, just real quick here, 178.80, cover a little bit on Apple as we did approach VWAP one more time, so we did cover that. Okay, right here, yeah, good. Right there, so we've already come back in again, short, out again right now, and we're just holding on by like the skin of our teeth. Remember that saying? I wasn't sure if that was accurate or not. We tried to short again Nvidia. We're gonna let this one come back up a little bit more, and it's just so funny that we miss a $2 move. Like that was 432 flat. It touched down to 07, and we were at 02 right there, and now it has to rip up $2 against us. Sharif is like, man, that's a great trade. I'm like, yeah, it just went against me $2. So let's wait to see what happens here. Hopefully it continues to come to the downside. It's Meta that is still holding some of those bottoms. Again, every single tick that you're gonna see here that's purple is a short. So we're short Meta right now. Thank you everybody for watching. Over 4,000 watching. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe. Let's go over to Brendan at the big desk.
The rundown brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on the desk by many of our traders every single day. See what's moving in the moment with Trade Ideas. Check out the link, bottom right corner, 20% off. Guys, use the promo code TraderTV20. Shout out to our friends at Trade Ideas.
There we go. So we're done the rundown officially. Let's see what happens with this market. Look, if we break that 15.2, obviously I want it to go down with the exception of Palantir. If Palantir breaks that 15.5, I'm not thinking reversal trade on Palantir, just so to make it clear. Like if we do break this down, I don't think I'll jump into a short. I think have enough shorts on the board, do not need to fight it. I am in that Zine. I did mention that this morning. It's kind of a weird buyout style deal. So you'll probably see me get out if that gets to like 134. I do like it to the upside. But guess what is moving to the upside? John in the chat mentioning another squeeze name. There's a few of them. You're not supposed to call them Weight Watchers anymore, but WW. I'll double check the short float, but I do remember $12 on WW. It's not going to get there today. Of course, having said that, you should never speak in certainties. It's very unlikely it gets to $12 today. So, John, this is a name that's been on the radar for a bit. I'm just going to double check what the short float is here on WW. I know it's a good one. I just want to. It's only 12%. I thought it was higher than that. So that must have come down recently. That's not nearly as good as I thought. The 12 level looks great for a breakout, but at 12%, when it gets there, I probably take a shot at it. But I thought that was over 20% on WW. That's kind of unfortunate. We'll get to that one, I guess, when the level comes in. Micron is still finding buyers at 67.80, the top end of the range here. So I got to 68 short. If it cannot hold on to that 80,
I'll do it.
I've got levels all the way down to 67.50. If it breaks that, I don't think VWAP's in the cards today. The chip names have been awfully strong to expect something like that. And Tesla, I was going to look at Tesla as my other stock for this afternoon, but PayPal from this morning, if you remember, the news on PayPal it got sold off, not some way. It got all the way back. It broke out from 61.70 and then went all the way back to 61.70. Now is a chance to break this back out this afternoon. So this looks like a bullish name. If the market takes out the highs, I think this on a 63-quarter break, if you want to play some strength, PayPal definitely setting up for that. And you look at where this is on the daily, it's not a bad base. Whoops, I went in the other direction. It's not a bad base that you're making, high or low. It's been beaten up pretty badly. Were it to finally get going green, there's a lot of room in the next couple of days for this to get to the 50 period. If the market takes the high, this would be a name in addition to Palantir I like to the long side.
All right, just checking out the phone right here as we got a nice little fill there on Nvidia that did hit 433. So here it comes back in right now. Hopefully we can collapse down. We did take 70 cents. And when we're taking 70 cents, we're doing something like this. We're going to spin that out, but we need to make a lot of money back here. So let's get going on that. ASAP here as Nvidia, Meta, both trying to come back down to the downside. You just looked at PayPal. I wanted to flip it over to Square a minute, but it's actually not doing anything. Coinbase, let's have a quick look at Coin. Like this, look at this thing. So here we go. So like this is still Nvidia, but I just want to talk about it because the spread on this when it opens up, that's why I'm missing some of these fills. You have to be able to sit there. And unfortunately, we were on the bid. It just didn't fill us down there at 432. So we've now put a bid at 430. 247, and I'm at 40s, just randomly there in the 40s. So hopefully that'll come down, will fill us one more time, and then I don't want to bid anymore at all. I wanted to take down this 432. Then I want to see this. I want to see 430. I want to see 429 and change. Let's just get one more fill downside because we're spinning it now. I mean, this is 90 cents in the money, so we got to take advantage of that. I did want to look at Coinbase again. It's just bouncing off volume weighted average price, which is the blue here. So that's 80.50. Yes, sir. There it goes. Yes, we got to fill on Meta right there that just filled at 303 off of a 305 fill. So that not only is a $1 club, but it is now a $2 club trade on that one. So welcome to that. If anybody's part of that nation, you get to have that win today as well. But Coinbase, just thinking if we break 80.50, normally I'd like this level, but I think you got to break this. You got to break 80 before we do anything. We could check out what Bitcoin's doing. GBTC is the grayscale product over there on the pink sheets, which is, of course, the OTC market now. Not now, but it's always been like that. That's GBTC. So to follow it, Bitcoin, of course, would be up about 2% from Friday's close, remember. They don't take into consideration anything that happens over the weekend. It's just because this doesn't trade. So you're going to watch out for that. If Bitcoin continues to fall down, you're going to have to break $20 on GBTC, which will, of course, break that $80 mark here on Coinbase. So I actually really like that break. Let's see if that can happen. Oh, hell yeah, right now. All right, shout out again to the girls this weekend. Let's fire off some we didn't have any hot dogs, but let's fire off some hot dogs right now because if Nvidia can make that push down, then we'll be a much happier camper heading into the close. We didn't look at Disney today. We did talk about it, Neil. I don't know if you looked at it on Friday. Disney, again, if you're cutting the cord, you're probably cutting Disney. But again, this is going to be a writer's strike situation, I feel like. They've delayed Marvel. They've delayed Star Wars and some of their big movie offerings. Plus, again, with Hulu being a big thing as well. I know Handmaid's Tale was big on Hulu. That got delayed. So I think you just got to watch out for this 88 level coming through on Disney. I really like it. I think it's a great long-term play in your portfolio. portfolio off. Oh, you can't see. There you go. Thank you so much, whoever's doing that. Ramin, thank you. 86 there for a possible bottom coming into play. Was it? Oh, it's Fabian. Is it Fabian? I don't know who did. Can't see anything anymore. We got so much in our way.
There's like
now.
Cameras. You have your.
And they both kind of have ponytails. Like every time I guess it's the other one, so I can easily flip that around.
Well,
just guess the opposite.
Everything.
And I'm not. Look, I wish I had hair like Fabian, but the guy has a ponytail, and I can't tell. Like
At
literally,
least you can see them.
I mean, I'm more hating. Wow, here we go. Yeah, exactly. Now you're getting blocked out by it. But here we go, man. It's cash register time because this is exactly what we were waiting for. Here comes Nvidia. We get that fill. Now $1.50 in the money. We've made back half our day alone just right here. So hopefully we can continue this movement to the downside. It'll be tough for me to get green today. You know, we can't be an honest trader without telling you that. But we're going to wait to see what happens with Nvidia. Don't say nothing, man. I mean, don't say never. We can get this name back in. MindMed inks a $50 million credit deal. MNMD, is that still
17 cents is my call.
Is it? Yeah, I was going to say it's still.
That's a straight guess.
Oh, it got, okay, so MindMed, was that
split?
Today? I don't know when this reverse split was, but there's no way in hell this is a $4 name.
There's no way.
What?
There's a couple of things here. We're back
Okay,
under
we're
back under VWAP on coin. I am trying to get a 50 fill here. I like to get some out at that 80 level. I like the fact that we're at 81. When Bitcoin rolled over, 81 is where we closed on Friday. So off the 15-minute chart, this is the top end of the range, 82. Then 81 bottom. That's where you close. So support turns into resistance. Short off of that, it is working to the downside. So we're already rigging the register there. MindMed did. I mean, they did split, right?
I don't know because it looks pretty clean going up to $4 there.
I thought for sure it did, but I could be wrong. Maybe it did go to $4.
The bottom's only showing $2, but this is reverse split on the chart. Let me just zoom this back out for us here to see. Yeah, I think it's. Oh, this is Meta, MNMD. I was like, my Meta is $300. That's a little crazy. No. So the reason why I know that there was no reverse split in this is because our charts don't chart reverse splits properly. They obviously chart this properly. There it is right there. But you got to go back to last year when we went from $1, 10 to 1, up to $10, I guess.
Wow.
And now back down. Faded out. Neil, it only made a bottom.
No, it did.
No, it did back last year.
Yeah, last year. But
yeah, last year, yeah. Okay. And then the bottom right now is $2 for MindMed. And of course, this is a psychedelic issue.
It's been holding the 200 period pretty well.
If you like the weed, but you don't want to smoke it, and you think that there are something to do with acid and things like that, nah, do your own work there. Shout out to the New York Jets fans who are going to have to put up with Aaron Rodgers and his ayahuasca right now. So we'll see there. Is that pronounced properly?
You know what's not crazy that the Jets could finish in last place in the AFC East?
Or first. Oh, but it's not crazy.
That was a good one, man.
What's so crazy about that?
That was, I mean, it's crazy. But
do they have the best defense in the AFC East? Maybe they do.
Nah, the Patriots.
Patriots are good.
The Patriots defense is pretty legit. That's the reason I think the Jets could finish in last. If Tua stays healthy, they're coming in second. Y'all know who's going to go first place. Let's be real. It's going to be the Buffalo Bills. Because that's how they roll. So I did just get a little bit of Coinbase underneath VWAP. I'm going to reload that 81. I like the fact that it's a green to red, red to green story. Alvin says, don't you put that evil on my Jets. Keep it real around here. It's fine. I love you got to have passion for your squad.
Yeah, I'm going to find the odds.
That's the way I look. You got to find the passion for your squad. The Patriots are probably expected to finish last in the division. The Jets, I would guess, are supposed to finish in third. There was something else I wanted to get to. It was TTOO. Go back to this one. Just because I'm waiting, like I think the big level and the big break on T2 is at 45. That doesn't mean there isn't another trade in here, is now that it starts pulling back in. So you had a local high, 37 cents, where you just had a breakout. You did reject this double top here from last week at about 39. So if you bounce back in here, hold 37, it's probably a long, at least until this break of 39 into 40. 40 was a good breakout a couple weeks ago, but this 37, I like when you hold resistance into support, which would happen if we come to the chart here. That would happen, how's about now-ish? No? Okay. 37, so you guys, if you're looking at the chart, you want 37. If it bounces from here, I think it's not a bad kind of scalp trade long, give it into 36. You've got room to take out last week's high en route to what I think is a much bigger level up here at 45. So you don't want to wait around for 45. There's probably a trade holding 37 and then breaking out this local top to get you to 45. You need the volume to pick up. It's done 74 million. When this was going ham, it was doing a couple hundred million when we were trading it last. That was on this day, and on this day we were trading it. I think I probably traded it the day after, and then I made an attempt in here that Havana Woody keeps busting my balls about because, well, I was long at like 34.
Havana.
I was long 34 in TTO on this day. It was a 9th, and it kind of ran my stop underneath and then proceeded toward the high of the day. And I paper handsed it by adhering to my stop, and then it got to the high of the day. And so it's fine. You can make fun of it. It's true because I paper hands the trade. I think it's a lot more interesting when it's doing bigger volume, and it wasn't really doing that kind of volume that I thought it was going to be worth that hold. Obviously the wrong call, but to each their own. Micron, I'm going to reload this sucker again if we get above 68. So if this breaks 68 even and doesn't take out the high of the day, I'm just going to reload it and keep scalping, that 20 to 30 cent range. And if the market takes out the high, it's probably just going to give me an out above the high of the day on Micron. Coinbase has been working. Palantir, I guess I could be reloading the long on this. I don't know. It's putting me to sleep, but it's supporting 15.55. But it's not really doing anything. What the excitement is if it takes out the high of the day. If it's not moving, it's not worth the reload.
All right, you guys might have saw it. The Jets are actually second to get in there. So
Over Miami?
Yeah.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah, it's Jets plus Bills plus 120.
Well,
so
yeah, I mean,
you get money to bet the Bills. So if you really think that they could win, you get money for them. The Jets are plus 250, so 2.5 to 1. Miami plus 290, and the Pats way in last at plus
Miami might be better value.
8. Bills.
If Tua stays healthy, Miami's a better team.
Right there, yes.
Like Miami almost beat the Bills with Skylar Thompson. Like that was.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about Skylar Thompson except for the fact that nobody knows him. So how good can he really be?
Yeah.
But that was
the Bills
embarrassing.
got to.
That was embarrassing.
They'll get it all figured out, I'm sure. They
Way
will
too
at
much
some
talent
point.
not to figure it out. PayPal is starting to go. If this market breaks out, this one through the quarter, like 63 quarter. If the market wants to break out, this one looks like it should be the one to go. So I'm just going to get a stop order in. If we break the quarter, I'm going long on PayPal. I said it and then didn't put my stop in. Now the stop's going in.
Yeah, and I'm feeling kind of a little bit of FOMO here with Nvidia as well because it's been so strong today. It's up 6.5%, and here I am sort of calling for the demise back down to the downside. I have called this whole AI kind of craze a little bit of a Ponzi scheme. But the thing is like the whole NASDAQ, it's kind of like all big cap tech. Like Nvidia was at 480, like Nvidia fell from 480 to 400. So let's, not forget about that right there. The top is 480 right there. The bottom today is 400. So you gave back 20% on Nvidia from the highs, but I can't hate on Morgan Stanley, man. I mean, when you're going to pull back 20% in a name, maybe, and especially a name that's so hot like this, that is probably a good buy zone there for Nvidia. So again, a little bit of a missed call there from me this morning. I didn't realize that they'd sort of got so much love there this morning, and that actually does make sense because it does pull right back into that spot. And now, of course, you're wondering, okay, what's next? And if you pull back off of 420 there, or pull back up off of it, then maybe it is a 460 level that comes into play with earnings now only 9 days away for Nvidia back at on the 23rd of August. So we have that coming through now as well. Okay, we didn't screw up at all on Meta because we did get a 303 fill. We just got that a couple minutes ago. And I said, you know what, we better get out of the quarter of what we have left if we do take this level because we don't want to be too much in this name. Again, it's been a good name for us today. We're positive on it. And we just don't want this to get too nasty in case it does happen. So we have to wait again for this level right back up here. 304.60. I'm expecting a fade out in the rest of this market here. Obviously, I wouldn't be short right now. So hopefully we can fade this market. We've already made those highs. NASDAQ up 1%, once, twice, thrice right there at 15,250. So let's see if that can hold out. There are a couple cool graphics I want to talk about. Michael Burry's positions. We want to talk about that after market today at 4 o'clock as he has some big opportunities in the put side of things on the Qs and on the spiders. And I want to talk a little bit about household debt and things like that. And we did miss a super chat. So what we could do here is actually this is a new feature.
Yeah, you can click it.
Fan funding.
Yep.
So you can go here. Oh, it doesn't show the last one. What's up to Ian Rispetto? I'll talk about that. But there was somebody else that was on there. Bears versus Bulls. I don't know. I guess it disappears after a while. So I'm going to hit 100, and some love on this one, Ian Rispetto. But if Bears versus Bulls can get it to me, because I did forget it. I believe it was Indian rupee or something like that. So if you're still on there, it was just a thank you. So there was no message on it, but I don't want to ignore, obviously, when we do get super chats. So thank you so much to who that was. And Bears versus Bulls, hopefully had marked that down. And if not, that's cool. Don't worry about it, Bears. If it is there, though, send it over, and I will say that. X calls just jumped $60.
Yeah, U.S. Steel is continuing to go. Just one thing, though.
Says Nicole Harris.
I am out of Amazon. We shorted that lower high there. It never really broke down the channel, but we'll just respect. Like, if you're going to short a consolidation, I'm going to get out when it breaks to the upside. Like if that breaks down, I like to short because it's relatively weak to the market. The market's at the highs and it's making a lower high. But if it goes any higher, you got to think that 140.50 that we were short before. If you're wondering why U.S. Steel is going up, Cleveland Cliffs made an offer for them, and it is now this to me it has to be news. So there's got to be some kind of response. I cannot see a stock in this situation doing this kind of a move if there isn't some kind of an update on U.S. Steel. They rejected the first offer this morning. I was like, yeah, they're probably just going to come back with a higher bid. And I'm not saying that's what it is. I haven't really seen anything pop on my Twitter feed yet. So there's got to be something here. I don't want to speculate without knowing, but I cannot see any way this just popped another 7% there. Off of absolutely nothing. You'd have to think that there is another look at a bid. If it comes down to that 30 level, I think it's an easy buy if there is, but I'm just waiting for some confirmation. 35 cash? 35 cash is the bid?
Is that, I don't know if that's an official bid or just what they're hearing.
All cash? Oh my goodness, I'm going to kick myself.
Okay, so that's a good one. I still hold some Nucor, which we've talked about that. Neil, of course, sold some today, or all. He can tell you that story.
I didn't have that much left,
yeah,
which is,
so then whatever.
You should know, but it's just hilarious because I saw it, I was like, I'll just take the open on the shares I had left from $20, and 35.
That's funny, yeah, because I think you're right, man. I don't think Cliff has any cash, so I would be selling
35 cash?
I'd be selling that pop. Okay, maybe I will. Maybe I'll head over there right now. 8.5% only on X, so that's it, right? So it's only 8.5% short float on X. DMX right now. He wants to go into the chat right now.
There
all right,
it is.
so announced today, voluntary public cash exchange. So ES Mark Inc. So this is another company right now. Today offer voluntary public cash offer for all listed and outstanding shares. I'm just reading what Brendan has here. $35 USD per share. The initial offer period runs from today, the 14th, until November 30th. So they're gonna have to figure that out and get regulatory clearance and everything. I don't know what ES Mark, who that is exactly, but here we go. If that is legit, look out above.
There's some private company that is invested in steel. I don't know them either. I just looked them up.
So CLF going to have to come back stronger than 35.
I thought it was going to be CLF making a higher bid today. But,
I've gotten some out of Nucor here at 170 in the past. That's been a good high for. I only know that. I didn't even know where the price was on Nucor. I haven't looked at it today. This is in my, probably I don't want to say a better steel company, but see, this is why I know 170 has been key because we really haven't broken that. I'm long at this name like 130 and change, so it's not like it's been huge. Here we go. We bought some here. But you guys know this was a COVID name for me. I think we got it at like at 110. But anyways, it doesn't ever want to break up here, so you might want to sell something in Nucor as well. Getting a nice little 3% bump, obviously nowhere near X's bump, but same sector there. So I don't know, man, play this as you will, but there goes X right now. You know what? I just think we should be punching long. Like if that's a true story, November 30th is not that far away.
No, it's not.
So if they just come out and say, we'll take 35. I mean, look.
Well, they said maybe extend.
They could extend it past that. But look, like if you're a shareholder, and again, I don't know anything about U.S. Steel's position. We can look it up. I can look up their cash position, what their burn looks like, and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, you were just back, this goes back to last year, of course, in the springtime. This is April. The last time we were here was never $35. You got to go all the way back to April of 2022 before you're in this spot. So the fact that they're going to offer you today $22 close on Friday, and you're going to get an offer up here at 35, that makes a lot of sense on a premium side of things because that'll be about 60% up. So I think that makes sense. Watch out below if you're short on X, your
And
shares
Cleveland Cliffs is kind of selling off right
may
now.
get called away there. Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, CLF is pulling back off its highs pretty decently. Into VWAP already on CLF. That's one of those want to know what the news is before you punch long. Like, it's one thing to speculate, oh, this move looks like it has to be a higher bid. It's another thing to just jam long without any idea what the news might be. So if there is a dip in here, the first little pullback was to 31.5 or so. So if it gets underneath 32, maybe a long into 31.5 would make some sense. I can actually have a stop before I get in. If we get under 32, now all of a sudden it doesn't want to break 32 even. Maybe it's just a long off to 32 even instead of waiting for 31.5. I'm looking at Cleveland Cliffs because I feel like a relief bounce off that on VWAP isn't a bad idea if it got to 1550. But yeah, just getting along in front of X at 32 might have been the jam. I was looking at 31.50, but 32 seems like it could be a bit of a level here. But out of the corner of my eye, if Cliff holds VWAP as a sympathy bounce play, like it just flushed because of this news, but they were going to do cash in stock, really. So if they're not buying them, why is that all bad for Cleveland Cliff? Are people assuming that Cliff's going to make a higher bid?
They just wanted to diversify maybe because they're huge into copper.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The stock was trending upside all day. You know what? Let's look for support on this thing. The big level is 1530 on Cliff. That could be a better level for it to find some bounce because there is heavy selling still coming in. Look at the volume spike. It's the biggest volume spike of the day. Don't need to jump in too early. Let me just go back over to another name because we just made a fresh local bottom on coin, then things slowed down. When I check Bitcoin, it's leveling off a bit. So what I don't want to happen on the way to 80 is for it to make another bottom here and I don't take anything out. So I'm going to see if I can't just make the bid, a little Magic Johnson action, and then see if we can get another out in front of that 80 level. This has been working to the downside, but the market's just leveling off. We have a 20 handle range on the NASDAQ now where you're just leveling off. The last thing you want is to have it break back to the upside, and then you're not taking any profit on any of your short positions. There's Cliff. It just got to 1550 and did catch a bit of a bid. So yeah, this might, I don't know, I kind of like this one off of 15.5, but US Steel, I want it underneath 32 because I feel like that's a much safer play. And if I see anything close to 35, I think you'd be shorting it off. Breaks 34 and I'd be looking short on US Steel all day.
All right. Oh man, like we basically went 75 cents in the money again on Nvidia, and I didn't take anything out. So yeah, as the market tries to pull back, we're gonna have to do something about it this time. We went way in the money on everything here again. We went way in the money on, not way. I mean, this is kind of right back. This keeps on bouncing Meta off of 303.50 now. So hopefully that can come back in one more time on that play. Apple's really been working. All right, what's up to Ian Respetto there? Let's go and Respetto his super chat. Respect it? I don't know. All right, so Walmart. When does Walmart report? Tomorrow, I believe. Let me just double check that with trade ideas.
Home Depot's tomorrow.
Yeah, we're getting into there. Maybe it's
Thursday,
Wednesday or Thursday. Let's double check right now. You might as well. The 17th, so whatever day that is. 14, 15, 16, 17. Thursday night? Pre-market. Thursday morning, I guess. Pre-market. Wait a minute. Today's the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. Yeah, Thursday. Okay, so Thursday pre-market. What do we expect? Look, I mean, we've heard some good news, right, from some of the credit card companies lately about, you know, spending, things like that. Oh, Danielle Shea's on today. Ooh, didn't realize that. She's coming on right now. But yeah, Walmart, whenever you're starting to break out a little bit into earnings, I kind of like that. You've seen nice moves upside in MasterCard and Visa and American Express. I feel like the consumer, although I'm going to talk about this on the 4 p.m. show as well, I feel like the consumer is still strong. The debt ratio is actually under control. You might not think that way, but as more and more people head over and try to fight inflation, which, by the way, like, inflation was huge. Now we're coming right back down on the CPI print, right? So that should help out Walmart a little bit as well, as people are starting to feel better about themselves and about their spending habits. I could see Walmart with having an aggressive grocery aisle. We hear about groceries a lot with Walmart. I think that they could have a good chance of beating. I like Walmart heading into their print on Thursday. So, all right, now before we go, we got to do this because we are on this Nvidia short, which of course my good friend Danielle Shea is going to be like, what the heck is this guy doing shorting Nvidia? And she is going to be right. But we're going to short it right now. We're down not that much on it yet, to be honest with you. Let's see if Nvidia wants to make that 435 push. And if it does happen, you know I'm going to be out. And there she is right there. I don't know why we flipped over there. But let's go over to the big screen now with Brendan and Miss Danielle Shea.
Is Danielle Shea, VP of Options over at Simpler Trading, back with us on a Monday for a look at, exactly what we were just talking about, some retail to come this week. It typically signals the end of earnings season, Danielle Shea, but we all love earnings season anyway, so let's continue. There's a few individual names coming up this week as well. New was one of them. I didn't send that to you earlier, but I'd love to get your thoughts on that. But let's start. Tomorrow morning, we get July retail sales reading. First off, I mean, it's typically a look at more broader scale, how the overall economy is shaping up at this time on a monthly basis, but more specifically, individual names to look at, as Sean was just mentioning, Walmart, Home Depot, TJX, just to name a few, all set to come through this week. Where would you like to start?
Sure. So I think we could start with Walmart. I loved what Sean was saying about Walmart, so we can continue on with that one.
Sure, go for it.
So, I completely agree with Sean when you look at the overall trend in this stock. I mean, inflation has been coming down, but consumers have also been continuing to spend at Walmart anyways. I mean, they've also demonstrated that they have high income earning people that are spending even more there now too, as well, than they were previously. So I think Walmart has a great shot at beating earnings. If you look at my earnings grid here, they beat estimates 12 out of the last 16 quarters. And if you look at these gaps, you can also see, how often they've gapped up versus gapped down. Now, I will show you that, half of the time it's up and half of the time it's down after earnings. So, it's one of those things where Walmart can be a coin flip, even though they beat earnings. But, on a longer term basis, I still continue to like Walmart to the upside. I think 165 and then 170 is a great long-term price target. I own the shares. I think the company is strong. And if we end up getting a pullback, it might just be a good buy the dip opportunity.
Go offhand, just to put you on the spot here, what the priced in move is going to be or should be for this?
Yes. So the priced in move in the options market is $5.77. So when you look at where it's currently trading, you're just going to want to, of course, add that to the upside or to the downside. And then the way that I do it in the options market is I make my trade based off of the expected move. So if that's what the priced in move is, and then let's say after hours, Walmart moves within that move, then that tells me I generally want to follow along with the trend. Now, if it moves 1.5 or 2 times the expected move, that's where we have a big move and we have a potential either post-earnings crush or a post-earnings long, because that's, greater than expected.
You made a couple of good points as to why they could possibly come out on the plus side of things. There is the underlying what is going to happen in Q3 and Q4 of this year. A lot of people still expecting a little bit of softening in the overall economy. If that is the case, is there an area, obviously you named a few levels here, but is there an area that from a longer term perspective maybe looks pretty attractive?
Sure. So I can go ahead and flip over to my longer term charts. And when you're looking at this long term trend, I mean, it just, it's just continuing to be incredibly strong, and it has for a long time. So, I still like the 170, 172 price target. I know you'll say, well, but it has a $5 expected move on earnings. So can't you give me a higher target? I mean, here's the thing is that it's already moved so far that it's really getting up to the upper band. So at this point, it's getting pretty extended for me for an entry. Now, I know that we weren't talking about Costco this week because Costco doesn't have earnings this week, but I will point out that in this same sort of space, you have Costco that still has some upside potential here. Walmart's pretty close to that upper target. But if you look at Costco, I think there's still room up into 668, 700 in Costco. So I would actually prefer buying and holding Costco here than Walmart, since Walmart's already so close to the target.
That same, longer term perspective, let's go to Home Depot here and talk a little bit about, from a home improvement standpoint specifically, if people are going to be a little bit more cautious going forward with spending. and maybe sitting on their hands a little bit when it comes to that, because longer or higher for longer is the theme, it seems, going forward for interest rates. What do we do here as far as HD is concerned?
So, I have two different stories with Home Depot. So when I look at it on the long-term basis, yes, people aren't spending as much money, but you also have people that are not moving because of the interest rate situation. And you have people that are going to have to be doing things to their current homes so they can stay in it longer when maybe they wouldn't want to, right? So you have that. I think that is good for Home Depot. I think it is good for Lowe's. I have been buying these companies over the course of the last year and a half. And if you look at Home Depot on a monthly chart, you've got a double bottom, you have a squeeze here, you have positive volume. I do think that this is going to end up back up here at 420 and then at 450. It might take a while. And then when you're, looking at it on a short-term basis and you say, well, let's look at this earnings grid, you can see that the last 4 quarters, it's gapped lower. I mean, yes, Home Depot's had a little weakness, a little bit of softness, and I would expect to see that continue. But I'll also point out that over the last quarter, I mean, look at this trend. It's been really, really nice. So with an $11 move that's priced in, I mean, I think we could see up into 340 pretty soon here.
Saturday, in fact, and trust me, they're fine. There's way too many people at Home Depot on a Saturday, but anyway, should be positive. Let's TJX is the type of stock, and we have a group of these around here that we tend to only talk about around earnings, because it typically is one of those ones that really only moves to a point you want to look at it from an intraday basis around earnings. Give me your thoughts here for TJ Maxx.
So, I like TJ Maxx. I think it's a good play right now. I think that, for people who want and need to buy clothes, it's way cheaper than most other places, and you can get some really great stuff. So I'm a huge fan of TJ Maxx. Marshalls, actually just went to Marshalls yesterday and got some great deals on some baby clothes. So you have that, and I think it's a good play for the overall economy right now. But then you also have this trend. So if you look at the trend, you have a really nice bullish trend with earnings. They beat estimates 10 out of the last 16 quarters. That could be better, but it's also not terrible. If you look at the recent price action, you can see that there's been a really nice run over this last quarter. And there's also a bullish squeeze right here with some consolidation. It has a $3.22 move priced into the options market, and that would align really cleanly with a $90 price target. So I like this stock here. I think that this one will continue to do well, but ultimately a good long-term play. And I like trading it around earnings too.
All right, let's go to oil and energy. Last time we spoke, we were discussing the fact that this entire group has been relatively strong versus the overall market for, weeks and weeks, going back to the end of June, even when we saw that break back to the upside. Is there something interesting at this point? I mean, we're at that time of year, seasonality coming into play, a little bit lower volatility, a little bit lower volume. Is there something in this group that's catching your eye right now?
So when you look at oil, I mean, absolutely, I think seasonality is in play. And I think that all it needs to do is just break right up above this $82 price point. You can see that there's some pretty critical resistance there. And if it can keep going, then I think that we're going to continue to see those higher prices. Typically in this space, there's a few that I like. Exxon, which has broken up above critical resistance at 109. So, that one's continuing to show some upwards pressure. You also have Chevron. Chevron does still have this overhead resistance here at 166, but I think you could at least trade it up into that zone, and ideally a breakout above that zone, which would get you to 170. And then the other one that I really like is MPC. So this one tends to be a little bit better of a trending stock than the other ones. As you can see, it just has this really nice uptrend on this chart. And so for me as a trend follower, I love to identify those and, follow the trend on this one.
Let's go to the other end of the spectrum here. Tesla, everyone's favorite EV company, back to the downside a little bit initially today, but we have seen a bit of a bounce or attempt at a bounce after this earnings pullback. Chinese price cuts, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but maybe a sign of a little bit of softening as far as demand in that market. I mean, where are you buying this?
So when you look at Tesla, I think it's either a buy right here or it's going to break down to 200. So I have this level of support, which is currently where the stock is sitting. You can see right here that this is a gap fill. So it's filled this gap, which was from, let's see, about June 8th. And so now that it's filled that gap, it's got this little shot at this key area of support that it can potentially bounce here if we see some buyers come in. I'm seeing downward momentum shifting already. And so I want to eye it for a buy right here, but you need to see actual buyers coming in. You'd want to see, candlestick pattern break above the high of the low bar for that to be a buy up into 260. Now, if that doesn't come through and this support zone at 234 breaks, then that's when you're looking down into 200.
And it's one of those things, we were discussing it a little bit this morning in the pre-market, where all of these, from a longer term perspective, even if you go out to a daily chart or a weekly chart, even the volume this time of year has just not really been there as far as something you can sink your teeth into. So we say all of this, obviously, as always, with caution. I wanted to wrap up with Nvidia. Big day today, back higher, 3+% right out of the gate this morning, up 6. And change at the highs here. Morgan Stanley putting it on their top picks list. Is that enough to get you interested here?
So I've been watching Nvidia and waiting for a moment to buy it. Arguably today for a day trade probably would have been a great time down here at this zone of support. But I think that the way that it's broken down, you can see the way that this pattern has shifted. You got a major volume sell signal. You're below all these key areas of resistance. If you look at SMH and just the way that all of the semiconductors have rolled over and shifted trends, I think it's pretty dicey. You have this one day that's an up move, and for me to consider this an actual buy, I would need a follow through day tomorrow, because for me, I'm primarily a swing trader. So when I just have one day with a move like this, a lot of the time you can fade it. And I see these areas of resistance, and I'm eyeing that for a potential, fade back down into 400. And I think Sean had the right idea looking at this to the short side, because I think it might just be a one-day wonder on Nvidia.
Yeah, let's see how the rest of the week plays out. But a lot of people, even the past couple of weeks, have been talking about how overdone this could possibly be. So we shall see. Great stuff. Miss Danielle Shea, VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. A pleasure as always. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Right. Hopefully a frequent guest for the 4 p.m. show. Thank you so much as well to Danielle Shea for coming on here and talking all about her positions. I love what she's talking about. I love Costco. I love that opportunity. Again, I would rather be in that name than Walmart for sure. But here we go. Nice little downside move as we talked about. It's always good when someone smarter than you agrees with you. So here we go. Nvidia, we are short, but this is for a day trade, might get squashed very, very soon here. We just keep on shorting it and keep getting out. These are now it's getting shallower and shallower, these victories, right? That's an 85 fill, that's an O fill at O's. And the covers are here for $1.80, things like that. Hopefully we can I'm actually bidding 27s that I at least get that fill. There it is. So here we go, right back in. Another 60-cent winner right there for us. So we'll go props up for that one. And thank Miss Danielle Shea for coming back on. And hopefully we can all be right here with Nvidia heading to the downside. But it's really crazy, I think anyways, to be really fighting the trend. And that's the one thing that I took from her as well. Don't fight the trend to make sure that you're with it. And Nvidia, although it's looking down on the daily, I just talked about that, 480 down to 400, give you $80 back. But today is a nice little candle to the upside. Let's see if it can hold near that 450 running into the next couple days, as I'm going to just keep on trying to get out here as we're downside now near 434. Just trying to, again, put some sutures into the wounds from this morning on AMD and make that money back here on Nvidia.
Yeah, the U.S. Steel is still doing insane volume. So the news coming through that it was S-Mart, or what the heck is this company again?
S-Mark.
$35 cash offer. We know Cleveland Cliffs had their offer rejected, which was cash and stock. When it held 31.50, went long on the way back through the three-quarter, added at 32, got legs out there for 30 cents and on the first leg, and then 30 cents on the second. Dip bottom to 31.5. It then rejected 32. So lower high on U.S. Steel. The support at 31.50, if it gets taken out, this could really flush to the downside. So I'm out of it. I tried the long a couple times. They did work. I had to take profit, so I'm not really short. That's just coded as a sell because I had to take profit already out there. Felt like you could have gone to either one of these for the dip buy. I ended up going with the dip buy in U.S. Steel, but the dip into 15.5 did work on Cleveland Cliffs. Now, if you do start to fill in that gap on U.S. Steel, at some point a bid will come in, especially given the fact there's a $35 cash offer. So if it gets to 30, I can see buyers for sure. Just want to see what happens with that 31.5 level. Micron gets back into the high of the day. We did take some profit, and then we're right back up to that top. So took our stop out the first time short, got back in when it was a wick top, got some out 67.80s, 3 legs out actually, and now it takes out the high. I'm gone. So we wait for it to get actually to the high of the day for a reload. Looked like it was trying to check up for a little bit, then it takes out the high, and I get right out of it. Not going to fight this one at all. So you'll still see me in Palantir long. That really hasn't done a heck of a lot. It's still working in the money. And then Coinbase, I did not reload Coinbase above VWAP here, that 81 level, if it does get challenged again. I'd like to look at that 81 level a little bit closer to 330 for the imbalances. Maybe I can get a wick top through 81 for a reload. And that AMRS, if there is a sell imbalance, you'll probably see me in that until 4 o'clock. But yeah, right now U.S. Steel is the volume maven along with Cleveland Cliffs.
We just took out we just got 2 more fills down there at 434. So shout out to everybody out there talking about just me scalping and, you know, doing that. So, I mean, that's exactly what we're doing. And here it goes. Looks like it's going to break. And when it does break, I mean, I'm going to give it a little bit. Now that we've been taking $1 on it or so, I think we can try to give it a little bit more on that break. I do wonder if that 435 does spark this all the way up to that 436. I mean, we are right now up to days high again, which is a good thing that we had scalped that out. Like, we're kind of in chill mode now. We obviously don't have as many shares as we did and previously, because here goes the market straight up to the upside. We are reloading a little bit here on Meta. We just got that in right now at 304.70. I mean, I can tell you the exact fill. Yep, exactly. So now we'll wait to see where we go right now on Meta as it's right back up to its high. And again, like, look at these outs, 303s off of these 305s. So, you know, making sure that we're able to capture some profit here so that if and when this blasts higher, including a 305 take. So if Meta can get going upside there, we probably will decide to get some out. Now that, of course, we do have a decent position on, let's get something out for 25 cents if we can, and then put something again back down here near 304, which I don't have any bids. So if we can get something down near 304, we'll take that. But for now, if we could scalp 25 cents here, let's do that. Short at 70, if we can get out at 50, that would be pretty good. But here it goes. Nice little upside move. And again, it's the market, right? The market's coming back. 15,250. We bounced off that a couple times here this morning and this afternoon. Let's see if it does happen again right now, as we are now well into power hour. And some of these moves are just retracing back up. You know, that can happen to you either way. Either the market, you know, continues its move down, which it was doing all afternoon, or we get back and try to retest some of these highs. So this does not surprise me by any stretch of the imagination. Watch out for Meta taking out 305, and then we'll be out of this one like 305.15 or 305.20 if it does continue its move higher. But
has it broken today?
No, it shouldn't have broken. Unless if it did, it was just by a little bit.
Okay, so it's just a bad wick then.
Well, no, I mean, it could have broken, but maybe it broke. Maybe it broke. But either way, you're up here at 305 again, trying to give it a little bit higher. We have 3 say here. Let me just zoom in exactly to see if it broke. So I actually have this short. So yeah, it did break. It went, no, it didn't. It went to 304.95. I have 304.85 as the top of the day. So, all right, let's see if we can get some money back in, or back into our account.
Tisha
here
halted
from Meta.
Tisha, what is that stock called again? It's Taysha Gene Therapies. There you go. Taysha, whatever. Taysha with the halt to the upside. I was long on the first halt, and then stopped out. Pretty much had a plan of action and then chased the halt price instead of just taking the breakout. Wouldn't have mattered, wouldn't have worked either way. And then after the second halt, I played the breakout there as well. It didn't go. So halted, 195 is the current tap. 194 is where it is halted. That's not terribly exciting. Here comes US Steel to the downside. So it's now broken that 31.5. That was our dip buy zone. If it breaks all the way down here, I'd be looking for 30 to 30.30. Like anywhere in that range for any kind of a dip with a 35 cash offer. I can't see there being, if there's a big flush to the downside, I can't see not being rubber band action on this name. It's got a decent short float, but it's more about the fact that there is a cash offer. So monitoring this as Cleveland Cliffs is holding up really well. I would hope that, okay, you never want a stock to go down. I'm not wishing against anybody. It's just to get a second crack at VWAP here would make me happy because I missed it the first time. It was a decent trade on U.S. Steel. I just feel as if Cleveland Cliffs holding up a little bit better on this dump. If they were offering cash and stock, and now let's assume they don't make another offer here, then they just kind of run on their own merits. And I like that relief rally that it just had off 1550. I'm not sure we get another look at that, unfortunately. Eric Blackburn, what is the short float on Palantir? So I'm in Palantir from earlier today. I want to say, I'd be guessing, I'm not going to bother guessing. I think it's like 6%, but 6.76%. I just looked it up. So at 6.76%, I would have been close. But Palantir, that's not the reason. The short float's not why I'm long. I'm long because the stock bounced off 15 again and then broke out yesterday's high. So I wish, you can wish for that second shot. Like if you had that time machine, 15 Palantir was probably the easiest trade today. If you are looking at it at 9:30, you just had to be looking at it right at the open for that failed breakdown to 15. I took the high break. I'm still sitting in it. It cannot seem to get through the top. I still have a breakout trade on PayPal. If that takes out the high, it's right there. So if it's not the high of the day, but the local high here, 1625-ish, just above that, I'm going to take a breakout trade if it can go. Room to the actual high, which came in the pre-market on PayPal. Like this made its high of just underneath 64 at 9 a.m. So if we can, I just got in now. I don't necessarily think it has to go all the way up there, but if it can get even halfway. Strong name into a strong market. Let's see if this one can go. Waited for the break forever on this. Going to get some bids out in front of 63.5 and then see how far this one wants to fly. Maybe I should have also gone into T2 Biosystems, eh? Of course that stock's going. Was talking about how the volume wasn't that great on T2, and then it proceeds to bounce off 37 and get through Thursday's high as well. So that one's still going. I don't love the volume on it. I don't like the spread either. It makes it a little bit more difficult to trade. That's my excuse for not trading it, to each your own. When that thing does a couple 100 million shares, it's just a much of a different beast. I'm just not really seeing volume that I like. So we're into PayPal. U.S. Steel, if we get a deep enough dip, I probably try to buy the dip underneath 30.5. Just not sure we'll get there in time because it's already 327.
Holla.
Wow, so we're going to get the early look on the imbalances in about 4 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if it was to the sell side off these highs, but you never know. You never want to guess at it. You just want to prepare for it.
Uh-oh.
Money.
Dollar now. What's up to Daniel Shea? Thank you, Daniel Shea, for being in the chat and adding some extra value to the chat. If anybody wants to be in the chat, you just got to hit subscribe, man. No money to be in the best chat room available. And there's Nvidia, man. Okay, we told you we're getting reloaded. Not once, not twice.
Another one.
Third time there, at least now on Nvidia, and there it is right there. We just took 435, so we're taking another one here. It is another member of your dollar club right there now immediately on Nvidia. So, hey man, what goes up must come down. Hopefully. Let's see if that is the truth. We're in trouble though with another name here, Meta. Meta's she's very close right now to breaking that top. So I am going to take a little bit out for flat if we get back into the 70s right now. Meta holding out tops right now. And I don't know why it's the one holding while the market, look what the market just did. If you're going to play, with me here, you got to watch out relative strength versus weakness. And when I notice that the NASDAQ pulls back down here and Nvidia drops $1, which it's doing, and Meta does not, that is, for your boy, a pause for concern. So, now we'll have to wait as Meta. I guess I should show you Meta's screen right now. Come on, just come back in. Let's take a little bit of pressure out for flat, literally for flat here in the 70s if it can come out. And it's only a 50-cent hit, man. It's a $300 name. It's just that when you're playing with shares, you got to watch out for your stops. And we talk about that all the time. Make sure you have a guaranteed out. Put in your stop orders, and mine is just north of 305. We did talk about that a little bit. Let's see if that can come in right now. But hey, man, no short, no cry. Looks like Meta is going back up to the upside. And at 330, we get an updated number, but it's not till 350 that we get those actual imbalances. So, let's watch out for that. It's a good thing that nothing's really happening at all with Apple because, we've been able to sort of get in here at the top. We did get stopped out there for sure, but we short. Stopped out when we took 179.20 or so. Then we noticed that we weren't really getting to 180, so we play off that top wick right there of 179.70. by shorting 50. So give it 20 cents. So there's the 1-to-1. No, that's actually, there's 2-to-1. There's almost 5-to-1 right there for $1. And now we'll see if we can get even lower than that here for Apple. So we're just going to wait on that one, see if it can come through. But really now, it's not my whole afternoon. We've already made back half of what we lost earlier, but the afternoon is going to be waiting on Meta here, because if it takes out that 305.20 area, then we are going to have to get out of it, and that'll be another red mark here today on these big tech shorts. So we'll wait for that, and then the only thing that I'm red on that's holding the whole day back is AMD. And look at this, man. Wow, like we would be red a lot. We haven't been shut down in forever, but you hold this all the way up. This is a shutdown trade if you're stubborn about AMD. Thankfully, although we're going to be red on it, we talked about that, it's not as bad as it could have been, because right now AMD at the high of the day. So always pick your poison, man. We've already been shorting Nvidia, and now we can capture that as that's going to the downside.
Intel's flying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All these chip names continue to go up, which is making me nervous about Nvidia for sure.
Nvidia is kind of going sideways at that top,
Yeah.
but like Intel's made 2 consecutive highs here in the last 10 minutes or so. Just checking in on what's moving. If you're looking at Intel, just to put some work for you, I'm not shorting this level, but 35.50. You go right back in for the beginning of the month, and that was the high here, down to 34 with a 35.50 high. That's where we are right now. 37 is a huge line in the sand. If I see that tomorrow, I don't see any way. I know it's a stubborn thing to say you always short tops, but that's a pretty monster level on Intel. And I know what happened when we got to that double top last time. I think I'm fading that if we see it tomorrow. Super strong name. PayPal go win a couple cents after that break, but not a heck of a lot more. This could be the one that we just try to hold on to for a big move to the upside right at the end of the day, but the market is doing absolutely nothing. I want something strong that can break out and try and get back to the high. It feels like it fits the bill. Palantir was seeming like it was going to be it, and it's not doing much. Coin is just teetering off VWAP. It was a good short that's turned into too much of a barcode to want to go back over and reload over and over again. The early look is 182 million to the sell side, so I don't know, I was thinking it could be a sell. That's really very small. 182 million is pretty much insignificant. We'll look at 350 to see what it comes out as. I think that's a bigger story. Unfortunately for the dip buy on U.S. Steel, it decides to dip to 31 and find support instead of getting under 31, which is what I wanted to do, was buy underneath 31. It just bounced off 31 even. Maybe I should be scalping off that. I figured the buyers would come in there. I just didn't think it would be that early.
All right, we did get stopped out, so we'll flush ourselves on the toilet there because, again, Meta's a cup of coffee, but we're stopped out on it. It did go back up to the upside. I did put on another one against that level just because the market kind of faded off of that, and I just didn't want to be part of okay, we just got squeezed out there on Meta, but I don't know. I mean, we identified that Meta was way stronger than the rest here just over the last hour or so. So continuing to be in this short is a little bit, again, risky to say the least here, but we can be, just pulls back a little bit and we're fire again. So I don't know, man. I mean, trying to go back and forth with these names seems silly. But here goes Nvidia still bouncing off 434. I want to talk about other names, but honestly, man, I just have a lot of shares involved here.
There's not much else moving.
Okay, well then I'll do this right now.
The chip names are breaking highs. There's not much else moving.
No. Yeah, that's why. Meta's moving. I got a few names, but I think other than tech names, then U.S. Steel moving around as well. But we'll go over that. We've been going over it. If you did want to be involved with Day Trade the World, why not get involved right now with our campus program? You can apply today. Today. Can't apply yesterday, but you can also apply tomorrow. But, apply now. Right now, it's only available for those located in the lovely country of Canada. But the key is apply now and tell them why you would like it in your country, and hopefully we can make that happen for everybody. What's in it for you? Well, you're just going to get exactly what we talked about. Go to the website and you're going to find out. Trade in both simulated and live markets using the program that we use here live on the show. So I think that's cool and important. So you want to know stop orders, everything like that, it's all right here. We have over 30 markets live. You're also going to be trading in simulation mode for a while. There's an introduction here. There's various platforms you're going to learn about here, including our own. talk about training mode coming through, one-on-one group coaching, and like-minded individuals. You'll be put, hopefully, in a class with others that have roughly 16 to 20 hours, I believe we're asking for a week on this one. Minimum 16 hours, there it is right there. So if you have that much time and you want to learn, do you have what it takes? Find out for yourself with Day Trade the World and Campus. So there you go, professional campus read, not right there, but go ahead and go find it for yourself, and we'll see what's good with Day Trade the World Campus. As I just took a little bit of profit on Meta, but it looks like it does want to head back up to the upside as this market bounces again off the 50 period. So I agree, Neil, man. There's not much happening. You got to find individual names.
Yeah, it's wild volume on US Steel. It's just at prices that, if you're not playing off a support level, I don't want to be sitting out there diddling in the middle with it. I thought underneath 31, it's at 31. 32, I feel like that's where I would want to try a short. I wasn't short before. That would be great if I was short. That was covering along. But 32 would be where I'd want to look for a short trade here. You're just running out of time, and if it sits there at 31.5, that's exactly where I don't want to trade it. I'm not risking 50 cents on this because where's your opportunity for a $1 win? It just doesn't make any sense. Like a long off 31, you can risk 5 to 10 pennies and then maybe get that $0.50 move, and the same thing with a 32 short. That's what makes sense to me. I know 99% chance I trade US Steel a bunch tomorrow, especially if this offer, there's a response to it, that 35, and if Cleveland Cliff comes back with any kind of an offer, that would be pretty spicy. That was a good bounce off VWAP. Now it's not even moving either. So I got PayPal. It did make that break. The market takes out the highs. I do like its chances, but the market is still in about a 10-handle range for the last 30 minutes or so. I want to see us break this range. It's kind of boring if it doesn't. Palantir, I will continue to take profit here as we get right again to the high of the day. It just made another wick of the high of the day on Palantir and then came right back. So it's been above 70 a few times. One more test above 70, and we're right back to 70 even. I'm just going to get on the offer 71. I've been holding this one all day long. There was a reload since we came back on. I'm like, yeah, my stop's underneath that break even, 15.55. It then bounced off 57. Well, I'm looking at US Steel. So you could have reloaded this one back to the high of the day. Palantir, this is a bullish move for Palantir today. If the market puts in a day too long, Palantir has fallen down so far. 16 breaks in the cards, back above the 50 period. I don't think we get another. There's not going to be a third chance to bounce off to 15. If this gets back to 15, it's going through the next time. We missed the boat on that. But if it is at 15, I would short it the third time through on Palantir. It was a long today. There's no way it bounces again if it gets down there.
Yeah, I think you always want to keep looking at those 3-day plays, 4-day plays, like just off earnings, right? These markets are not going sideways. It doesn't seem like it. As the NASDAQ up another 1%. So Fabian, you let me know when you have the graphic and you want to throw it up there, because we are going to promote. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's just that at the end. Okay. So 4 to 4:30 today. Join me as we go over what was up today. We're going to talk a little bit about Nvidia. I have a few things I want to talk about as well, including Michael Burry and his positions. And then we talked about some household debt and a few other things that I want to go over here today. So join me, and we'll look at Rumble earnings, and anything that crosses the wire, we will definitely look up, and we'll try to explain some of these moves that happened today. So that's live after the close, immediately after the close at 4 o'clock. I'll be on the air, so you should just turn over into that. So hopefully that does happen, and you won't have anything to do. Although our Meta right now just turned over and took out that 305.50. So again, back to back, tried it, didn't happen. Market just continues to go right back up to this level again here and wants to test day's high again. So when you're in the most aggressive names and the market goes the other way, then this is what happens. Nice move to the upside. And it looks like right now, although we're out of the money 50 cents on Nvidia, we'd rather not lose on this trade. It is starting to go back up to that 436, which was the high previously. So let's see if that hits. Again, we held it against us before up here at 436 before it fell back in, but that's a 436.25 top here for Nvidia, which just comes right back down. So we have some shares now, man. We just got those. So let's wait to see what happens here with Nvidia.
It's actually, I want to say it's Intel that's actually making the bigger move right now to the top. Pretty strong, up 2%. Nvidia's up more, but in the last 15, 20 minutes here, it has been this one. When you extend this far into the imbalances that could be coming at they are coming at 350. I'm always thinking about where is a potential reversal play, because if anyone comes into the sell side imbalance, if this gets 36, that would be one shot. it's kind of a gimmicky style trade. Like the imbalances come at 350 to the sell side. I would like a 359, a 35.95 short or something like that if it gets up there, or at 355 when imbalances pair off. If there's a buy imbalance on Intel, it's actually an even better trade because if a buy imbalance takes it up to 36 and then at 355 there's any kind of a flip or they pair it off, then it's short on that. You're always looking for a pretty strong name that has a decent chance of flipping any imbalance that comes out. And Intel almost never has its imbalance days. I'm hoping for a buy imbalance on Intel and then a short off 36. It's the most likely of all the candidates. U.S. Steel is now just deciding it wants 31.5 over and over again. I thought there'd be another couple of trades in U.S. Steel here today. It doesn't really feel like it. Just the one shot off to 31.5 and then the missed shot at 31 even. Running out of time to make another trade here in U.S. Steel. It should be the Taisha show. TSHA. It broke that 190, got all the way to 210, manages not to halt on the way back down here through 2 even, so it still hasn't managed to halt. But a big breakout on TSHA. As far as the day 2 play goes, if you're looking for levels on this on the daily chart, you got to go way back, all the way into 2022. For the 250 level. If this gets above $2.50, it gets very spicy. I doubt that happens here today. But hey, if you hold on to $2 today, maybe trade off like a 2-quarter breakout. 250 is a big level for TSHA. It is only a day 1 play at this moment. And 140 million shares, I think you can drop 100 million shares tomorrow. If it does, I'm likely to get involved. But yeah, it's not getting 250 today with this pullback.
Oh, man. No, I don't. I don't know if anything's doing anything today. Okay.
Come on, PayPal.
Just seeing if there's any news on anything happening right now. Goldman Sachs. Okay, nothing.
Schwab is dying.
Is it? Okay, I was gonna look at some of the banks here because WFC was hitting again as well.
I think Schwab's the worst one. Though.
Was there news on Intel? Because that volume is really picking up. Oh, by the way, Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia did fall back down, and I mean you can see my takes here. Our average price is 433.35. We got a 435, not 433. 435.50 fill. Now our average price is 435.33. Wow, tongue twister there. And we were just look. I mean, these are the shorts, right? Short. We've been covering, so that's a 35 plus a 50 gives us that 30 fill. And now it looks like we are trying to take out that very top of 26 again. So here it comes. So if we do this, man, this is screaming to the upside right now off Morgan Stanley. Just big day for them in their upgrade on the name, as they did talk about it falling down $80 today into 400, which would have been a great buy spot. But again, to have we have an 8 ball, not a crystal ball. Let's see if it does fall back in right now. Meta's still at that same level that we got stopped out at, so I'm not going to get back into it. I thought we identified Meta as strong, and yet I tried to short it again, which is kind of not good. But right there, 179.50, we're still waiting for that to come through on Apple. Let's check out DraftKings. We did talk about them having a little bit of a misstep, letting Penn get that deal done. I always felt like there was a deal to be done with an ESPN or something like that. And I don't think that DraftKings needs it. They are the leader. I mean, of course, I loaded up FanDuel to talk about the Jets there being second in the AFC East. But I think that this 240 level, that's for Tesla. I was just looking at that. But DraftKings, $30 level, again, just a key level. We've dropped off from there. I could see something happening here at $30 again. You know, you take it, you break it, then you use that as support. So, you know, the number one book here, I guess, in the U.S. I think that's what sort of sparked this. We'll see if it can continue to hold and continue to get that love from the market on sort of a premium move upside there for DraftKings. I mean, this just goes back to January, you're $11. So it went up 300% up to $36 there in just a matter of 6 months. But I mean, a lot of these stocks did that, so shouldn't, I guess, be too surprised at that. Now that we're out of Meta, and of course Meta is not really pulling back, like we said, not really worth getting back involved in this. We did try it again, stopped out, so we will be red on Meta as well. And I'll be red on the day, and like I said, you guys can ask in the chat. I'll tell you if I am green or red, and today is a red day, but that's okay. You know, those days are going to happen, and hopefully not making them consistent. Let's just hold out for Nvidia here. We don't have enough shares to pull us up or down any kind of money here. Well, we do, but again, I'm not holding out too much hope here that this doesn't take out the highs right now. We've been doing well in Nvidia, but I could see us slipping up now, as there's the market right here. right back to day's high and actually looking to take out day's high. I just bet the wrong way today. I bet red, and it showed up green.
Yeah, it's all green today. We're 1% up on the NASDAQ. The ES kind of lagging, but you guys know it's been a tech story. So again, another high on Palantir without a big breakout. Just going to give this to 350 and see what happens. I won't even have an offer out if it takes out the high again. It's just going 55 into 70 over and over again. PayPal still barcoding, but it's been strong enough today on good news that if it's just a matter of hold the local bottom, which is the previous breakout price, and then we break higher, fair enough. That's kind of risking 10 to 12 cents to have it break out the top at 350. You will see, like I said, I will be in that AMRS. Again, that penny stock. If it comes at a sell and bounce, I'll probably take another trade. But wow, it is an unbelievable run in the chip names. Upstart, this is way too late in the day for this. If this was at 11 o'clock or like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, I would probably be looking for a breakout on Upstart, but not at 345. To say that this has a bit of a gap to be filled is an understatement. It was cut in half from these levels. Normally a 35 break looks really, really juicy. Tomorrow, just have a look at this last move down, 36.5. That's a big level. If that gets taken out tomorrow, I like the long on Upstart. Way too late in the day for a top-end break. If it's obvious. I see a lot of people have talked about AMC this afternoon. It's not moving. Maybe tomorrow. I would agree it made a good double bottom there, but maybe if it can take out $3.60 or $4 tomorrow, this can be a little bit more exciting on AMC. I'll probably be there for 4 break on AMC, just as a pure momentum play. For now, I'm just looking for 350. Pound through the high of the day would be a look, and then PayPal. Coin, I'm not reloading this one. Got underneath VWAP a couple times. I'm trailing out of this one at break even. So the local high is 80.85. My short's at 91. So with a bit of slippage, that'll be pretty much break even on that short. It was a good short, but like pretty much everything in the market, you could get a win. You're just not really following through anywhere to the downside. Like, there was no breakdown of the support level. You could short the top, but there was no breakdown or stair step to the downside. So you had to ring the register and not look a gift horse in the mouth. That's never usually too much of a good thing. As I just trailed out of Coinbase. So AMRS is probably the last short that I will have on today, which is probably fitting.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea not to have too many shorts on, as there goes Nvidia. We talked about that breaking through 436, so it's gone. Nice upside move on Nvidia right now. Huge now the market's going to turn back down. Is it though? Is it though?
It might.
It might. So let's see if it does. We'll try a little bit. We just missed the Nvidia punching it short. But there we go. We got a little bit more on this name. I mean, it's really hot. It just spiked up really great there, up to 466.66, 436.66. Sorry. So yeah, if we could take out that level again, then this is not going to be a great one here for us. But we'll go back into the short now on Nvidia just because of this move down in the market. But it's not something that we should be overly excited about, I feel like, on this one right now. So we'll wait for it. But we have 3 minutes. What was that number from Brendo again?
So it's now 200 to sell. It was 182 to sell.
See it. Okay, so
now it's 200 to sell.
All right, so again, not a big sale here happening on the NASDAQ. It doesn't look like it. We'll wait to see. Of course, the number that Brendan's giving us has nothing to do with the NASDAQ. It is just the NYSE. But we'll wait to see here. Right now, there's that wick top right there that we got stopped out on. We're back into this name. Yeah, 436.66 to the dime, to the penny, I guess. So we'll short this again just in case. We're just short right here at 436. Again, the spread is going to open up a little bit once it starts to move. So, sometimes you might think you're $1 in the money, but the spread's 20 cents. So just make sure that if you're trading this on your platform, that you have your bids out if there's certain levels you want to get, because you might not be able to punch those levels out on your way back up. I've been lucky enough.
That's very important on a stock like Nvidia.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been lucky enough to sort of get prices that we've wanted today, but you are going to get something that we call slippage on this if you keep on doing that. So I don't see how the NASDAQ's going up today either, but monkey see, monkey do. I have no idea what's happening with the NASDAQ. It's been a great uptrend that's really, it's been broken on the daily. There's no doubt about that, but who knows where we go from here. PPI was good. CPI is, well, PPI not great, but CPI was great as inflation started to make the move back down. So, all that's left really that we're waiting for, that I'm waiting for, are these Nvidia earnings. So here we go, a little bit of a pullback now as it just touched 70s or almost touched 50s there. Like, you see how violent that is, down to 60 there in just a couple seconds. If you don't have bids, you don't get filled. So I got to put a bid there.
Being of having bids, got to have offers to get filled to the upside as well. It's starting to go, but it's now 1 minute till 350 when the imbalances come out. So PayPal, a lot of times you could reverse a move at the high of the day. So I got an offer there when it went the first 10 cents and the next 10 cents and then after that as well. I do have, they're not stink offers because they're higher on Intel. I am offering in front of that 36 level on Intel. If it does go there, I'm going to be short like 95, 96 with a stop at the high. But this one, PayPal, I want to get out if it gets to the high of the day. So I got offers all the way through. In less than 1 minute, we get the imbalances coming through. What ATVI is it? No, that's not moving, is it, James?
Is there
Why would
happen
Activision
with that?
No, it's not. It's going to the downside. Never mind.
Okay.
Because if I see that moving, my assumption is, did something happen with the deal, and is it firming up because there's so much room to the upside? I want the opportunity one of these days to just punch long and hold till 94.5. So PayPal to the upside. If you see me short Intel, hopefully it's not for too long, and that means it's gone to 36 even. So this Palantir off the high of the day. I have a trailing stop now underneath that 65 level. I want to make sure we lock in profits on that name. Finally joined some of these longs, but it's not as if the market is screaming through these highs. The NASDAQ just wicked the top again and pulled slightly back. So imbalances are the next catalyst. Here they come. BAC, sell side. The banks are getting smashed today. J&J, Qualcomm. Don't really see anything from the big tech names just yet. Sometimes it's a bit of a delay. Then the NASDAQ names come in. There we go. Alphabet, 1.4 to sell. QCOM was already there as a buy, 700,000. I don't see like Apple, SoFi, 500,000, 600,000.
Yeah, no Apple. Yeah.
Palantir is a small buy, 500,000 is not that big. Amazon's a small buy, 400,000 shares. Nothing crazy. Let me zoom back up here to see if we see anything that popped in late. That AMRS is a sell, but only 3 million today. So it was 7 million, I want to say, last time. That penny stock, I'm short at 11. I'll probably try to add here at 10. But that's just expected. Eventually, it's coming out of the market. Cisco 1.7 to the buy side. Into this market.
Yeah, I don't know. I was waiting. I mean, we're short Nvidia here against the 60s, and it's not. We're just short at 20 here, so it's not really doing anything into this. So we did talk a little bit about that. Hopefully, we can get a move down. And again, you got to put some bids out there to capture the move down. Oops, here we go. There's Nvidia. So again, we just shorted some more at 50s. It's not doing it. I was hoping that maybe we would get a sell imbalance. The market's going down, but not Nvidia. What a surprise right there today. But the name that is going down, that let's capture a little bit of this, is going to be Apple. We've sort of gone over this. There's nothing that's too significant there. Google with a nice sell. Let's see if that did anything to the market. Okay, nope. So nice little upside move there for Google, so it's not respecting it. J&J, always on the New York. If you get a big sell, tends to be a little more interesting than NASDAQ land. So we could definitely have a, whoopsies, just gonna cancel that. Have a quick look at that. But yeah, again, J&J is not really doing anything off that. I like J&J for a longer term play. I think you can get involved with that. SoFi, people like to see that. 870, nothing really happening with SoFi. All right, so go ahead. No, I just got to say, we just got some more bids at 36s there for Nvidia, so that was good. But now here we go, right back up to day's high again. We're going to get stopped out on a 60 break, and that's that for Nvidia. Just hoping that we got a flush. That obviously didn't happen. Nvidia's going to close at the high of the day. Congratulations, man, a 7% move in this major name. This is probably one of the biggest days it's had in a very, very long time, as you can see there. Just one single day. This is the largest day it's had since earnings. So there it goes, man. Nvidia, they're really getting ramped up here heading into their report on the 23rd.
Yeah, I just got trailed out of PayPal. Once it made that leg up to the 50 level, he's trying to break that 50 and couldn't take it out. After imbalances, you got to get out at the end of the day. So I moved stop to break even. So we'll get in, get out. It's not going to be a big move, but if the market was going to break high and then trend higher, I felt like we had the right name, which you want to have some exposure to something like that.
Oh, man.
Palantir is still not really doing anything except holding up here. So if it breaks 70, I just get out. Can't really add to AMRS because it's short sell restricted, so I've been chasing it down. I don't want to chase it too far. Just to give you an idea what this thing looks like. The play would have, when I had this on Thursday, the difference was on Thursday, there was a bounce. I was short in the morning, bounced off the bottom, and I was able to short it at higher prices in the afternoon. Whereas today on the deletion with the sell imbalance, there was never a pop to short. So I was only short consolidations, and then it was trouble adding to this. So if it prints a low, I will have not been able to get anything since about 1:30 for this short, and that was at the 11 cent level. Down to Palantir, which is likely to come out any second now. And if I can add something into that penny stock, it's only, I mean, that imbalance is actually getting smaller, so I won't even chase it that far. Not really a heck of a lot there in terms of massive imbalances or trades. I looked at Cisco when we saw that and when we saw its imbalance, but this is Cisco. It actually didn't even move, like a 10-cent move on Cisco, despite the fact it came out with a 1.7 million bid. 10-cent move up for a $50 stock was nothing. I was looking for that. If it had moved the stock, would have been an easy fade. If it got up to 54 and then at 355, you look for the reversal. Not much there if it's not going to move. Imbalances do not have to move the stock. It's just a little bit of an edge on the off chance you can set up the trade.
All right, we did cover, okay, so now just to let you guys know, it was 35 or 40 cents for Apple. I mean, it just went down to the, basically to the bottom again of its range, and it hasn't really done anything, but we did get a cover there at 95, so that was pretty good. That's where it is right now, and wow. Just to identify that some of these names were super strong. I mean, Meta continues 1.36% higher than the market. Nvidia continues to go. And look at AMD as well, just climb, climb, climb. So glad we left this one alone. Although we went over traded Nvidia, which is fine, but it's just AMD really. And then it was this Intel break that was the cleanest of them all. And really the one that
I wasn't even looking at
should have been had, because when it took that 35.40 area right there, the high of the day, you know, when we see that these chip names are strong and a chip name is taking out the high and you still have a lot of time to go, you could see the volume really ramped up once that happened. So it was a good take there of 35.40. Nice upside move. And again, you know, wrong on the calls today, thinking that this market might have been a little sleepy and we could short some of these overbought names. But today they just became more overbought as Nvidia, like I said, its largest day since its report. So I don't know, man. People want to trade it. Great call by Morgan Stanley there to get, you know, all of their trading desks to make a lot of money from buying these dips and now just forcing it up and making everybody cover. But hey, that's what trading is all about. It is a rigged environment, and there goes nice move upside for Nvidia today. So, you know, the one long that we talked about that just couldn't get in, unfortunately, and we should have once we noticed this market was strong today, was Amazon. Those dip buys at 138.50 should have been had, was not had. We waited for 137. Unfortunately, it only goes to 137.80, and there it goes. Look at this.
That was a balance move.
Huge move. Oh, this last move was imbalance?
It popped to $1 million on the imbalance.
Huge move up.
Right at 355, Amazon popped to a $1 million buy imbalance. So that was the move just now, right to the high of the day. It's probably the biggest. BMY's in there for a sell of 1.4. BAC still a sell. The banks took it on the chin today. Led by Schwab. Schwab had a really bad day. But yeah, balance does come in for Amazon. I don't know if it'll get paired off a little bit late for that trade. I've just thrown my last trade into the auction, so that should be solid. We'll see where it ends up printing. It's not as big as it was on Thursday, as we were saying. One of the things about NVIDIA, it's almost as if when you look at that move, you would just close underneath the 50 period on the daily and then had a big flush. So your close below the 50 period, then a big flush day on Friday. That's the kind of thing that traps a lot of shorts. So a lot of people might have been looking to enter a short thinking you're now pulling back into 375, maybe even further than that. It's almost like the perfect setup for a breakout. If it holds above the 50 period tomorrow, that'd be pretty bullish. But you never really know. Tomorrow's a new day. Sometimes the last thing people are expecting, which is you get run over today, and then tomorrow it fails 50 period, and then you're right back at least the 420 level. I got away from it and didn't flip long. That's what I have to examine, is why didn't I like the long once it was breaking out from 420? If that was my last line in the sand, then that's the only place to flip away from, and I didn't do it. I got out and then didn't flip into the long, and that's what I have to ask myself on my train ride home today.
All right, so yeah, I gotta head right back to the park as we have another game tonight. So as we get ready for some playoffs to come through, our team, of course, has secured second place. So out of 8. So we'll see what happens here. Today should be our last regular season game, and then heading higher. What's up, Michael Noss? Thanks for coming into the chat. Again, talking about some 140 levels here for Amazon. We've loved that trade. It's been a great one here. We could check out the imbalances real quick before we leave you guys. CLVT, no idea. BMY with a nice sell. I still like Bristol Myers. I like all the healthcare or all the biotech sort of healthcare names, including J&J.
Eli.
Obviously, we've seen Eli Lilly go up with Mounjaro there. I think it's ELLY right now. I cannot believe, like, I don't have enough money in this, but the money that I do have is working quite well now in Eli Lilly, up another 2%. Novo Nordisk, the other name there, NVO, has there it is right there, Ozempic drug as well, which I don't know enough about them. Maybe I have to talk to some of our doctor friends to find out which one's better, because if there is one better than the other, maybe there is a trade here. Novo Nordisk down off of 190, 195 right now, pulling back. So this could be another interesting play back into 170, again, on some of those weight loss diabetic drugs there. It's Mounjaro and Ozempic, I believe, with Ozempic being NVO's drug.
I heard an expert who seemed to know what they were talking about. When it came to the Alzheimer's drug, despite what Lilly was doing, they said Biogen actually is the better upside play for the Alzheimer's. So I'd be curious if that same thing is true. I feel like Lilly's the safer way to play those based on their pipeline and pedigree. But again, if you have an inside,
Nvidia's 438 right now.
These stocks are getting ridiculous. The market is breaking out through the high. Should have held on. You can't. There's only 30 seconds left. So I was saying, like, should have held on to the longs that were there late in the end of the day. But with 20 seconds to go, we need someone on the bell here, because Katrine is, oh, wow, she just popped the earbuds off and popped out of the seat. That was like Usain Bolt coming out of the block. So he's not that great of a starter. At least he wasn't. Market at the high of the day. Katrina on the bell. Sean in the aftermarket in 3, 2, 1, and ring it.
All right, everyone says hola to Kat. So
Hola. Like and subscribe today.
there we go. Hola, like and subscribe today. She's got on, I was talking to her about the jeans. I was like, okay, so baggy jeans are in right now, and it's also frayed jeans. She was telling me at the bottom as well.
Yes.
So all my jeans that are old and all frayed at the bottom, they are now back.
So I can't wear my skinny jeans anymore? That's
Apparently, I asked her, I was like, so skinny jeans are out? And she's like, yes, and like, you have to wear the baggy ones now. If you watch Drake at his concert, the guy's walking around with these huge boots, these huge jeans, everything like that, so shout out to that. Yeah, look, what's up, NL Lightened Bear? Join me right now at 4 o'clock, and yeah, tomorrow's always gonna be a better day. There is no doubt about that. We're not here just for one day, are we? No, we're here for a long time. Oh, okay, now I have some loyalty bonuses popping in here. Thanks, Telus. For that, you can go to hell. No, just joking. I like Telus. All right, we only pay like $45 for like everything. It's great. I think that's good. We have 3 lines going with that. That's why I think we get the better deals. So, all right, yeah, watch out for Apple breaking out tomorrow. Yeah, we could watch that 180 level. Maybe the Nasdaq's found a bottom. I don't want to call any bottoms.
I'm not convinced of it yet.
Until I see Nvidia's report, I will still probably be short that name, but I'm not going to stand in front of it tomorrow. That is for sure.
I'm thinking about maybe like some of the squeeze plays we saw at the end of the day. AMC kind of was sideways, but wow, like Upstart made a bit of a move there. So there's a few squeeze names that I think can come into play tomorrow. Carvana had a day. Those have been getting absolutely destroyed. So on the off chance that you can get some of these cut in half or cut in 40, 50% day 2, I'd like to bounce play on a few. And of course, Palantir. I think the long is right back in on Palantir. It just didn't really follow through. Should have had that 15. Lots to get to. You're going to be on the after show there. I don't know if we're letting you get over there. Or
I don't know. We just ended, and Brendan will kill a couple minutes, and I'll head over there.
Okay, so let's do it for the entire team. Great job by Fabian and Ramin, despite the fact they've been hiding themselves behind like a million cameras. The midday was absolutely fire as usual. The professor and Mad Max going to get them. I thought Obi did a fantastic job filling for you on a Friday. He wasn't on today, but shout out to Obi just as well. Great job as always by both Brennan and, of course, can't say enough about Bears versus Bulls, and our guest today, Danielle Shea. So for Sean, myself, and Brennan, we're Trader TV Live, and Michael Noss. That's right, we had every guest today.
And not whoever's on CNBC behind us.
Who cares about who that is? Let's go right over to the desk with Brendo, to be followed by the after show with Sean.
Yeah, it's coming.
All right, yeah, let's get you caught up here on how things shaped up so far today. We are ending the session basically at the highs for both the S&P 500